Hello everyone, this is Top Romance Stories. Before watching the video, please take 3 seconds to like the video and subscribe to the channel so I can have more motivation to create more high-quality videos. Thank you all very much and have a wonderful day. If you could live your youth one more time, what would you want to fix? That is the question for our female lead, Fei Fei. The story begins at Mingda High School. Our female lead, Fei Fei, is dozing off in the school hallway when she is woken up by her best friend, Chu Mei. She opens her eyes to find that she has been reborn back to her 11th grade year. Have I been reborn back to 11th grade? Chu Mei doesn't notice Fei's confusion and hands her the homework she has completed. Fei, here's today's homework. Hurry up and copy it. The teacher is about to come in. The female students nearby see this and start mocking Fei. The workload for the international class is clearly very light, yet the female lead still can't keep up. She can even fall asleep while being punished. They tell Chu Mei not to lend her the homework notebook anymore. A talentless, uneducated person like her wouldn't even know how to copy homework. Hearing this, Fei becomes very angry. Are we that close? With such a long tongue, why don't you know how to tie it in a knot? After raising her voice at them, Fei no longer borrows Chu Mei's homework. Thanks, Chu Mei, but you don't need to copy homework from me anymore. Hearing this, Chu Mei becomes very worried for her. Fei, even if you don't know how to do it, you still have to turn it in. Our female lead, after being reborn, is extremely determined to study hard. She is resolved not to make the same mistakes as in her previous life. Starting today, I have to study hard. I won't copy homework anymore. Hearing the usually lazy female lead say this, everyone around is extremely surprised. Meanwhile, our heroine is currently stressing over the morning physical fitness test. Other people get reborn to start businesses, make money, and become bosses. I get reborn and am forced to take a 3-part morning physical fitness test. Fei recalls her past life. It was the day of the Baidu Film Festival. She was a Golden Tiger film queen, Dongfang Fei, a beauty who collected scumbags. As soon as she fell in love, she would retreat into seclusion, each time relying on charity work to make a comeback. Although she was indeed a stunningly beautiful woman, she was useless and illiterate. Recently, she had been heavily criticized online for a statement claiming she was the third party in the relationship between her ex-boyfriend, Zhong Jiaoluan, and his wife. Fei paid no mind to the press's rumors, confidently waving to everyone. Suddenly, a loud voice called her name. Fei turned around to see a figure in a black hat, face hidden, lunging at her with a knife. Call an ambulance. Quick, call an ambulance. The culprit ran towards Area A. I've never done anything to harm anyone, and I'm so beautiful, yet I die a tragic, senseless death. I'll never believe that good deeds are rewarded again. Fei died resentfully, unexpectedly, because she had accumulated merit by donating to charity during her lifetime. A handsome young man gave her a chance to live again. The handsome young man took Fei's hand. Hello, I am an underworld VIP, receptionist 7th master. I'm sorry to say you have died. Considering you contributed 4 billion to charity while you were alive, your accumulated merits have earned you a chance to be reborn, to return to the age of 17. Hearing this, Fei was overjoyed. Who wouldn't want a chance to start over? It's fine. Even though it was money I donated, it doesn't matter. Ahaha. Am I also going to be one of heaven's chosen ones, reborn to turn my life around? Our female lead was extremely smug, thinking she had unlocked the reborn heroine script. It seems I've gotten the main character script. I can choose to be reborn, but life is not a dream. Nothing in this world is free. The handsome young man doused Fei with a bucket of cold water. Even if you are reborn, you can't escape everything. You must get into Tsinghua to avoid being murdered. What Sing? But I'm a bottom-of-the-class student, and you're making me get into Tsinghua? Spare me. Are you my real father? Fei screamed internally. But the handsome young man didn't give the female lead a chance to protest. With a wave of his hand, he sent the terrified and bewildered Fei directly back to her high school days. Back to the present. Fei was rummaging through her desk drawer, looking for textbooks to start on her path of diligent study. But after searching for a long time, she couldn't find a single book. Where are my books? Why aren't there any? The junior sitting in front of her saw her rummaging through her desk and thought she was looking for comics. Here. I took them home to read yesterday. They're really interesting. Fei looked at the pile of comics on her desk, feeling completely helpless. Not these. Where are my textbooks? The junior was surprised by her question. Didn't you cut them all into confetti and scatter them last time? The wind blew them into the office, and the teacher was so mad they made you run up and down the stairs 10 times. Hearing her junior recount her glorious past, Fei was utterly speechless. She silently walked out of the classroom. Her junior thought she was going to find Lu Fong. Little did they know, our female lead was truly determined. I have to go buy new textbooks. When I get back, I still have to write a self-criticism letter. I'm so busy. After buying the textbooks, Fei recalled that this was the beginning of her 11th grade year. At that time, she led a group of girls to intimidate the goddess Zhou Jiasu from the rocket class and was forced to write a self-criticism letter. She was a bona fide problem student. As Fei passed by a glass door, she couldn't help but look at her reflection. Oh my God, this look is truly unbearable. Back then, she lacked confidence and didn't wear the school uniform, wanting to use makeup to become a beautiful girl, but her taste was just not up to par. Fei clenched her fists. She was determined that since she was reborn, she couldn't let herself be murdered again. The first step is to change this look. I must turn my life around. I must get into Tsinghua. Not long after our female lead Fei was reborn, the day of Mingda High School's flag-raising ceremony arrived. A teacher stood on the stage reading an announcement calling Fei's name. The following is a criticism of Dongfang Fei from the 11th grade international class. Last week, she gathered a group to fight, causing physical and psychological harm to student Zhou Jiasu. Following investigation, Dongfang Fei is to be criticized and must also perform a self-criticism in front of the entire school. Youthful impulsiveness had indeed caused so much trouble. Now, it was up to our female lead to turn over a new leaf and gradually make amends. Zhou Jiasu stood below the stage, surrounded by friends asking about her with concern. Jiasu, is the wound on your hand okay? Dongfang Fei is too much. She even dared to push you to the ground. Oh, what if it leaves a scar? It was clear that Fei's impression in the eyes of her classmates was disastrously bad. And who knows what our female lead was up to now. The teacher had to call her 2 or 3 times to come up to the stage for her self-criticism before Fei's figure was seen running from a distance. She's here. Oh my God, who is this girl? Her beauty is so stimulating. Mom, I want to fall in love early. It turned out Fei was late because she had gone to remove her makeup and change into a proper uniform. The female lead's true beauty was no joke. Everyone was stunned and full of praise the moment they saw her. Her junior saw Fei, waved her over, and handed her a self-criticism letter downloaded from the internet. You forgot your self-criticism letter. Dongfang Fei hurriedly took it and ran up to the stage, not even bothering to read what nonsense was written in the letter. Dear Grand, teachers and fellow students, I feel very regretful for my actions last week. At a time of happy studying, I let my mind wander elsewhere. Oh my God, the self-criticism letter was full of typos. The students standing below couldn't help but burst out laughing. Haha, it's arduous studying. I can now confirm that idiot is definitely Dongfang Fei. Her literature skills are ranked first from the bottom. How could you mortals possibly understand? The more Fei read, the more she felt something was wrong. In such a superior learning environment, I instead increased the tax. What's increased the tax? What a waste. Fei continued reading. Starting today, I will definitely strive to study hard, to be intelligent and time ly. Oh my God, another mistake. It should be intelligent and erudite. The quality of this self-criticism letter was truly terrible, causing her to lose face in front of the whole school. She didn't know where to hide. The teacher standing beside her felt embarrassed for Fei and quickly told her to get down. All right. We hope student Fei can mend her ways. Fei returned to her spot, wishing she could dig a hole and hide in it. She took the terrible self-criticism letter and tapped her junior on the head with it. Where did you download this letter from? There's so many idioms I can't even read. It's true what they say. Fear not a strong enemy, but a useless teammate. 2 more days passed. Fei had been acting very strangely lately. Not only did she buy all new textbooks, but she also wore her uniform and didn't wear makeup like before. Fei's underlings also noticed their leader wasn't her usual self. But soon, one of them, a blonde junior, came up with what he thought was a reasonable explanation. I think I heard that Lu Fang has shifted his affections to Zhou Jiasu, so she's in emotional turmoil. Don't you guys think her actions look like she's trying to imitate Zhou Jiasu? Hearing this, the group only felt pity for the female lead. No matter how hard she tried, how could she ever catch up to Zhou Jiasu? Although her looks might surpass her, her grades were still far behind. Meanwhile, Fei Fei had no idea that her efforts were being misunderstood as an attempt to win over that Lu Fang guy. Right now, Fei Fei just wanted to focus wholeheartedly on her studies. Where you fall is where you get back up. Only by studying hard could she dare to dream of changing her life. The class had begun. The math teacher walked into the classroom. Fei Fei took out her first textbook and declared with full determination, "It's just getting into Tsinghua, right? I can do it." At first, she was all fired up, but when the extremely complex formulas were written all over the board, Fei Fei's head started spinning. Oh my God, what the hell is this? Math is truly the bane of my existence. Just looking at it makes me dizzy and want to collapse. Forget it. Where you fall is where you sleep. On her first day of determined study, after less than one period, our Fei Fei had a bucket of cold water thrown on her. It seemed studying wasn't as easy as she thought. Next was literature class. The teacher lectured enthusiastically on the podium, while Fei Fei sat below, understanding some words, but not others. But this time, she knew to raise her hand and ask questions. She was indeed making progress. English class had to be taught in English. When Fei Fei couldn't keep up with the teacher's reading speed, she proactively spoke up and asked the teacher to slow down a bit. Seeing Fei Fei's eagerness to learn, the teacher happily agreed. The fact that the female lead was paying attention in class all day and taking notes became a topic of discussion for the 4 dogs of Mingda, who were Lu Fang's underlings. My God, what's wrong with sister-in-law today? So noisy. Stop calling her sister-in-law. She's probably about to get dumped. What's the point of studying in international class? It's all a waste anyway. Among the underlings, someone was actually interested in the female lead. Her current appearance was indeed much more pleasing to the eye. This is the first time I've seen her dressed so purely. If Brother Fong doesn't want her anymore, I can. TSK. Who would have thought that as an underling, he would dare to have such thoughts? He hadn't finished his sentence before he was hit. Get lost. Once a sister-in-law, always a mother. Don't you know? After fooling around, the underlings quickly sent a message to inform Lu Fang. They all thought the female lead was acting this way because she was heartbroken and even felt she was pitiful. Hearing this, Lu Fang also found it strange and said he would come over later. Time flies like a dog running in a field. In a flash, it was time for school to end. Yet our female lead Fei Fei was still obsessed with studying. She didn't loiter around with her underlings anymore, but packed her school bag to go home and study right away. Seeing their leader like this, the underlings were extremely worried. We're doomed. She's really gone crazy. Love is truly a poison. Unexpectedly, just as Fei Fei stepped out of the classroom, she was stopped by a hand. It turned out to be none other than Lu Fang. He very naturally wrapped his arm around Fei Fei's waist, pulling her into his arms. This Lu Fang guy was quite good-looking. No wonder the Fei Fei of the previous life was so infatuated with him. Lu Fang lifted Fei Fei's chin and asked with a smile, "Are you crazy?" TSK. Anyone who didn't know would think he was the male lead of a romance novel. "Are you okay?" Looking at her past life crush holding her and showing concern, Fei Fei couldn't help but be stunned. She subconsciously called out Lu Fang's name. In her previous life, Lu Fang was the female lead's first love. But for our Fei Fei, this relationship from beginning to end was not a good experience at all. It was in Fei Fei's 10th grade year. One day after school, she was walking home alone. As luck would have it, she was stopped on the way by a hooligan who had been constantly harassing her. The shameless hooligan cornered Fei Fei against a wall in a deserted alley, not bothering with reason and trying to force the female lead to accept his feelings. "I've been pursuing you for 3 years. Are you fucking playing with me? I don't care if you agree or not." Not only was the hooligan's appearance mediocre, but he was also crude. How could our beautiful female lead possibly agree? She swung her hand and slapped him. Little did she know she had stepped on a landmine. The hooligan, embarrassed and enraged, said, "You bitch. I'm going to deal with you now." The hooligan's ferocious expression terrified Fei Fei. "Don't. Someone, save me." Just when the female lead was desperate and helpless, Lu Fang's group happened to be passing by. So Fei Fei used all her strength to scream, for help. "Classmate, help! Save me!" Seeing the female lead call for help, the hooligan shouted, trying to drive Lu Fang's group away. "Fuck, don't meddle in other people's business. If you know what's good for you, get lost." At this moment, Lu Fang had walked into the alley. He paid no attention to the hooligan's threats and just looked at him coldly, as if he were an animal. "Oh, sorry." Before the hooligan could hear the full sentence, Lu Fang kicked him in the stomach, sending him flying out of the frame. "There's nothing that Lu Fang, can't handle." Lu Fang's cool demeanor successfully made the female lead's heart flutter. After the very satisfying hero saves the beauty scene, Lu Fang then kindly went to the female lead, helped her up, and casually teased her a bit. "You're even beautiful when you cry. Be my girlfriend." Being confessed to so suddenly, how could Fei Fei handle it? She shyly ran away and even scolded him. "Classmate, don't joke like that." And she thought Lu Fang was a good person, but it turned out he just wanted to tease her. However, after that incident, as if fate had arranged it, the number of times Fei Fei saw Lu Fang at school suddenly increased. Being approached by a handsome, cold, and domineering school king, how could an innocent young girl's resistance hold up? And so, Fei Fei eventually developed feelings for Lu Fang without even realizing it. From the time Lu Fang cornered her against a wall, demanding she thank him, to when Fei Fei proactively clung to Lu Fang's arm, refusing to let go. "Fang Fang, what do you like about me? You're very beautiful, not embarrassing to take out." It was Lu Fang himself who said this, making Fei Fei even more infatuated. At that time, Fei Fei was mesmerized by Lu Fang, liking him very much, even wishing they could be together 24/7. But this Lu Fang was clearly a huge womanizer. Countless female students surrounded him, yet he never took the initiative to keep his distance, even doing ambiguous things with them in front of Fei Fei, making her jealous. This led to an increasing number of arguments between the two. But Lu Fang's uncompromising attitude made Fei Fei even more insecure, afraid that Lu Fang didn't like her as much as she liked him. It turned out that was the reason for the change in Fei Fei's appearance. She started wearing strange clothes, smoking, and getting tattoos, just hoping to hold on to that. Scumbag. But it was all in vain. In 11th grade, rumors started spreading in school that Lu Fang had shifted his affections to Zhou Jiasu, and Fei Fei had been cast aside. At first, she didn't believe it, but then Zhang Chu Mei sent her a photo of the two of them being intimate. This finally made Fei Fei give up completely. She lost all motivation to study and stopped going to school. It was at this moment that she left home to participate in a well-known director's audition, starting on the path to becoming a star like in her previous life, burying this relationship and never mentioning it again. Recalling a life of foolishness, being toyed with by scumbag, Fei Fei only felt disgust for the boy in front of her. This time, she was determined not to pay any attention to this player. She coldly pushed Lu Fang's hand away. "You're the one who's sick." Lu Fang didn't let Fei Fei off easily. He grabbed her wrist. "Why did you bother Zhou Jiasu? When did I ever bother her?" So he came to find her for this ridiculous reason. How absurd. Fei Fei couldn't be bothered to argue with Lu Fang. Right now, she just wanted to leave and go home to study. But even that was so difficult, because you have water in your brain, even a dog can't stop you. Get out of the way. All right, wasn't it just carrying her to the nurse's office? What are you sulking about? This Lu Fang guy really thought too highly of himself. He insisted that the female lead had changed herself because of him. Suddenly dressing like this, you're still very beautiful. The sweet words of a scumbag now only made Fei Fei feel nauseous. Die, scumbag. She raised her knee, wanted to kick Lu Fang in the groin, but he blocked it with his hand. Lu Fang, let go of me. Lu Fang ignored Fei Fei's warning. After grabbing her leg, he didn't let go right away, but started to grope her. This leg is even fairer than Zhou Jiasu's. Our female lead was truly driven mad by the scumbag. She angrily pushed him away. If you Lu Fang, like Zhou Jiasu, then just go pursue her. Don't come looking for me anymore. After all, I did like you once. Can you give me some face and let me back out gracefully? At first, Lu Fang didn't understand. The female lead didn't beat around the bush and told him straight. Lu Fang, let's break up. Although Fei Fei had given up and wanted to let go of the scumbag. Unfortunately for her, a scumbag who agrees to a breakup isn't a scumbag. Lu Fang flatly refused. One might think it was because he had some feelings for the female lead, but it turned out this guy just didn't want to be the one who got dumped because of his pride, so he wanted to keep stringing her along. I've only ever been the one to dump others. Don't you dare dump me. After saying that, the scumbag Lu Fang turned and left. He insisted that the female lead must do as he wished. One immature scumbag. Watching Lu Fong leave, Dongfang Fei could only sigh. I almost forgot this Lu Fong guy is very concerned about his pride. Fine then. She didn't want to make a fuss either. She decided to wait until he successfully seduced Zhou Jiasu. Then he would automatically break up with her. Getting involved with Lu Fong was truly nothing good. Fei originally wanted to go home early to study, but because the scumbag blocked her way, it was already dark. The scene changes to Fei's house. At this moment, the female lead's mother, Li Mei Ru, and Zhang Chu Mei's mother, Shirley Mei, are sitting and chatting. The conversation eventually turns to Fei. Chu Mei's mother starts reporting Fei's misdeeds at school to her mother. Oh my, I only heard this from my Chu Mei. Fei was criticized today. Oh, didn't this child say anything to you? My goodness, I heard she led a fight and bullied a classmate. Fei had just returned home as all her crimes were being exposed. Why does Chu Mei's mother love to meddle in other people's business so much? As expected, Fei's mother was furious after hearing it. Our female lead tried her best to sneak upstairs, but was still caught. It's over. This time, her dear mother has spoken. Our Fei has nowhere to run. Poor our female lead. Just as she was reborn and determined to study seriously, her crimes reached her parents' ears, leaving her with no way to deny them. At this moment, Fei could only try her best to explain and clear her name with her mother. It was just a small misunderstanding. I know I was wrong, Mom. But how could Fei's mother let her off so easily? She wouldn't accept her daughter causing trouble at school like this. A small misunderstanding got you a public criticism, and you hid it from me. I'm so angry. Being questioned like this, Fei could only take it and couldn't argue back. She could only kneel down, hug her mother's thigh, and cry, begging for forgiveness. Mom, I know I was wrong. I swear I'll study hard from now on. Can you give me some money to hire a tutor? Chu Mei's mother, sitting beside them, not only didn't help Fei but also added fuel to the fire. Fei, I often see you leading a group of bad girls into the amusement arcade. Your family may be well off, but you can't just trick your parents out of money to spend like that. It's clear that everyone's trust in the constantly loitering female lead has hit rock bottom. Her hanging out with her underlings had also been seen by others. This time, Fei's mother would not be lenient with her daughter. Starting today, I'm freezing your credit card. Oh no, if the credit card is frozen, where will she get the money to hire a tutor? Mom, please don't. No matter how much Fei cried out, it was useless now. She had now become a poor wretch. For the rest of her academic journey, she would have to overcome the difficulties on her own. The next day, while sitting in the cafeteria chatting with her friends, Fei was still thinking about her studies. The college entrance exam was less than 2 years away. If she studied natural sciences, she definitely wouldn't be able to keep up. Therefore, Fei decided she could only stake her life on memorizing social sciences. But math was still her weakest subject. She couldn't do it without a tutor. Her underlings sitting next to her were talking about everything under the sun, even ignoring Fei's attempt to ask to borrow money. In fact, before she could even finish her sentence, the whole group was caught by the proctor. The bell for class has rung 3 times. Which class are you from? The group was startled. The underlings scrambled out of the cafeteria, even forgetting to pay for their breakfast. They left the poor and lonely Fei to face the unpaid breakfast bill and a demerit. Oh, is friendship between girls this pragmatic? After escaping that disaster, Fei finally returned to the classroom. It was now English class. The teacher was lecturing on the podium, while Fei diligently sat and copied vocabulary. Our female lead was truly determined, and nothing could shake her resolve. But the phone next to her kept disturbing her. It turned out to be a flood of messages from Lu Fong, asking her to hang out, so noisy that it attracted the attention of everyone around. But Fei was focused on a lecture. How could she have time to read his messages? Please continue, miss. This Lu Fong guy had become incredibly stubborn after yesterday. It was feared that he wouldn't let Fei study in peace these days. When school ended, Fei was heading home with her friends when she ran into that scumbag again. Today, Lu Fong wasn't wearing his uniform, but a head-to-toe black outfit. He was also riding his precious black scooter, which he cherished, attracting countless gazes from the surrounding female students. The moment Fei saw Lu Fong, she knew nothing good would come of it, so she quickly tried to find an excuse to slip away. But once she was targeted by the scumbag, how could she escape so easily? As soon as Lu Fong saw Fei, he quickly caught her and lifted her up in his arms. Being held by the scumbag, Fei Fei was extremely uncomfortable. "Put me down now," she struggled with all her might, but to no avail. Lu Fang placed her on his beloved scooter, Dahi. This treatment made Fei Fei feel flattered, yet fearful. "Isn't this Dahi, your wife? You never let me touch it before. Why the change of heart today? How could he be more important than Fei Fei?" This Lu Fang really knew how to win a girl's heart. No wonder Fei Fei was head over heels for him in her past life. But in this life, our female lead has come to her senses, only thinking wholeheartedly about studying. Forced onto the scooter by Lu Fang, she was still obsessed with her homework, constantly shouting and demanding to be let off. "Lu Fang, are you sick? Stop the scooter. I want to go home and do my homework." This sight left his underlings who witnessed it all completely speechless. She really was their big sister, riding on a scooter with a handsome guy and still screaming about doing homework. Truly outstanding. Meanwhile, the female lead, taken by Lu Fang, had to experience a roller coaster ride in the middle of the city. "Are you crazy? Why are you driving so fast in the city? Stop the scooter. Where are you taking me?" All along the way, Fei Fei shrieked, demanding he stop, but that Lu Fang remained unfazed, not even slowing down a bit. "Hold on tighter or you'll fall off." After a while, the two stopped at the Thunder God Club. This was a club opened by Lu Fang himself. As soon as the female lead got off, her face turned pale, and she was so dizzy she threw up a rainbow. The scumbag next to her wasn't worried at all and even teased her. "When you were holding me so tight just now, I discovered that those are quite soft." What kind of dirty thoughts was this guy having? The female lead, though unwilling, had to reluctantly enter the club with Lu Fang. Inside, Lu Fang's underlings had already started a game, just waiting for him to join. Seeing Fei Fei was also there, the underlings were extremely surprised. "Oh my God, why did you bring her here? Aren't girls not allowed here?" Another underling quickly chimed in. "Are you stupid? Brother Fang opened this club. He can bring whoever he wants." It turned out girls were never allowed here before. For Lu Fang to break the rule and bring Fei Fei along, it seems he was truly determined to win back the female lead's heart. Meanwhile, Fei Fei couldn't be bothered with those rowdy youths. She sat to one side, preparing to take out her homework to continue working on it. Today, Lu Fang was very enthusiastic about inviting Fei Fei to play with him. "I've told the receptionist to get all the snacks. Let's play a game together." "Okay." But too bad for Brother Fang. This Fei Fei was no longer the Fei Fei of the past. She flatly rejected Lu Fang without any hesitation. "No, thanks. You go play with them. I'm fine doing my homework here." Seeing Fei Fei's resolute attitude really opened Lu Fang's group's eyes. Brother Fang, is sister-in-law possessed? I didn't expect her to like me this much. It's really cute. Lu Fang, oh Lu Fang, you're way too narcissistic. How could our female lead possibly like the person who made her give up all hope in her past life? And so, the group of boys started their game. Their loud shouting and clamoring made the female lead feel extremely annoyed. She was struggling with her literature homework and was being distracted by them. "These people are too noisy. How am I supposed to do this homework? What does the character Guan Hanqing's personality have to do with me?" While our Fei Fei was frowning and racking her brain for a solution to the homework problem, another person appeared. "Hey, it's Brother Nya. Brother Nya, why are you here?" The moment the female lead heard the name Nya, she realized who this person was. She was so shocked, she dropped her pen and had to bend down to pick it up. Coincidentally, the pen rolled right next to the person's feet. Just as Fei Fei guessed, that Brother Nya was Nya Xinai. Oh, our male lead has finally appeared, with the main character's aura radiating from him. Right in front of the female lead was an incredibly handsome male student. The male lead had finally made his appearance. But it seems their first meeting wasn't very smooth. The female lead felt tense as soon as she saw the male lead. Hello. But then she felt it was useless. So embarrassing. He doesn't have any impression of me. Why am I so nervous? Nya Xinai casually walked in and sat down at a gaming machine. That I'm in a bad mood and don't want to go home. So I came here to play a few rounds. You guys just play, don't mind me. Even a usually arrogant Lu Fang showed him some respect at this moment. Then Brother Nya, you play first. We'll play together in the next round. I want to go to the restroom. That shameless Lu Fang even smiled and asked, "Do you need me to go with you?" This guy really knew how to provoke a girl. As a result, he was flatly rejected by the female lead. She wanted to escape this awkward situation immediately. That way, she wouldn't be embarrassed anymore. After the female lead left, the underlings dared to pick up her notebook and make fun of it. Ha ha, Brother Fong, come look at sister-in-law's homework notebook. Oh my god, ha ha, sister-in-law is such a talent. It turned out the female lead was so stuck, she didn't even spare her workbook. She dared to doodle and scribble in the book, and the drawings were quite good. A very realistic sketch of a scooter. Sister-in-law worked quite diligently on this notebook. Anyone who heard that would know it was a sarcastic comment. The soul of an artist, ha ha. Even Lu Fong was speechless and had nothing to say. He could only shoo his underlings away. Get lost, you guys. It turned out that although the male and female leads didn't know each other, the female lead had met Nie Shinai in her past life. He was known as the legendary, eccentric character of Mingda High School. Excellent grades, agile skills. He always held the first place position when he first enrolled. He held both the title of top student and school tyrant, meaning he was even more formidable than Lu Fong. In Fei Fei's impression, Nie Shinai was always a loner, always coming and going by himself. She also heard that not long after starting the new school year, he fought with Lu Fong on the basketball court, and the Mingda boys who followed their big brother also rushed in a fight. But the result, of course, was that the male lead won, taking down all of Lu Fong's underlings and even causing Lu Fong to be hospitalized with a broken arm. But he himself was also injured in the head during the brawl and needed more than 10 stitches. But the most mysterious thing was Nie Shinya's background. The male lead was truly no ordinary person. Even though Lu Fong was the son of the country's top conglomerate, he couldn't get the principal to punish him. Our female lead was picky, but when she saw Nie Shinai playing basketball, she couldn't help but be attracted to him. The male lead's gaze was as sharp as a resolute knife, making girls' hearts both tremble and yearn for him. Until one day, Fei Fei saw a girl confessing her feelings to Nie Shinai. This male lead really knew how to shatter a girl's dreams. He not only rejected the confession, but also directly gave that lucky girl a slap. What a crude person. The female student, both in pain and aggrieved, could do nothing but sit and cry in the hallway. Seeing this, Fei Fei rushed over to comfort her. Are you okay? The poor girl, hurt by the person she liked, still forced a smile and said she was fine. Fei Fei couldn't stand seeing such a thing. She hated guys who would raise a hand to a girl, but he has no sense of chivalry at all. How would he do that? She was just expressing her feelings. Does not liking someone mean you have to humiliate them like that? Unexpectedly, Fei Fei's criticisms were overheard by the male lead. He was even annoyed that she was in his way and said coldly, "Move." Fei Fei, caught red-handed talking behind someone's back, felt a pang of guilt. Oh no, he's not going to hit me too, is he? But luckily for the female lead, the male lead didn't touch her and just walked past them. From that day on, Fei Fei was psychologically scarred. Every time she met Nie Shinai, she was very scared and no longer dared to like such a violent person. After thinking it over, she decided it was best to get back to her homework. She should go back, finish her homework, and go home early. Just then, the restroom door swung open, and the male lead walked in. Fei Fei wasn't careful and immediately fell into Nie Shinai. I'm sorry. It hurts. Her hair got caught on his shirt button, and she couldn't get it out. Such bad luck. The distance between them shortened, allowing Fei Fei to smell the scent on Nie Shinya's body. His scent is so pleasant, like the smell of ash after burning pine wood. But this wasn't the time for random thoughts. She had to find a way to get away from him. What am I thinking? This is so embarrassing. My hair is too thick. Where on his shirt is it stuck? Seeing Fei Fei struggling for so long, Nie Shinai also lost his patience. He reached out and pulled the hair tie from her head. It turned out that was the problem. Finally, Fei Fei's hair was untangled from Nie Shinyi. She couldn't help but feel embarrassed and quickly ran away, not forgetting to say, thank you. Thank you. I'm really sorry. That moment really scared our female lead to death. It felt as if death was just a second away. This guy is really not to be trifled with. Fei Fei left in a panic. Nie Shinai stood there pensively. One might think he had some attachment to the female lead's item. Who would have thought that in the next second, the cute hair tie would be ruthlessly thrown into the trash by the male lead? The heart of this guy named Nie is truly unpredictable. Fei Fei then had to stay at the Thunder God Club until late at night before Lu Fong drove her home. On the way, she held a grudge and complained nonstop, "Look how late it is. My mom is going to scold me again." Lu Fong, driving in front, just replied casually, "I'll explain to your Annie that you were doing homework all night, okay?" Does this reason have any credibility at all? I don't need that. From now on, don't take me out anymore. I really have to study hard. Seeing the female lead so determined, Lu Feng was also confused. Study what? Isn't the international class just about spending money and then studying abroad? The second male lead imagined the female lead studying hard and thought she was doing it for him. His eyes lit up. Although the way you study hard for me is very cute, you don't have to force yourself like that. Fei Fei was already used to Lu Feng's S-class narcissism. Even so, she still patiently tried to make him understand. She didn't want to create any more misunderstandings with this scumbag. Did you misunderstand something? I don't want to be with you anymore. I want to study hard. Oh, hello. What? Who do you want to be with? This Lu Feng is really too thick-skinned. He definitely heard her, but pretended not to. I said, let's break up. Hold hands. I'm driving. Let's do it after we get off. No. The female lead was so frustrated she wanted to explode and could only scream with all her might. It's break up? Let's break up. What did you say? The wind is too loud. I can't hear you clearly. This scumbag was clearly doing it on purpose. Now our female lead truly understood the saying of our ancestors. If you chase love, it runs. If you run from love, it chases. As soon as Fei Fei got home, she saw Su Mei and her mother sitting and talking with her own mother in the living room. She had a bad feeling in her heart. Mom, Annie Mai, Su Mei, why aren't you all asleep yet? The reason Fei Fei's mother and Annie Mai, Su Mei's mother, were so close was because they were neighbors when they were young. Unfortunately, Annie Mai married a terrible man, so they quickly divorced. The female lead's mother felt sorry for Auntie Mai raising a child alone, so she let her come work as a nanny for their family, and also brought Su Mei to live with them. Seeing that Fei Fei had finally returned, Auntie Mai said worriedly, Fei Fei, you're back so late. How could we possibly sleep? If it weren't for Su Mei accidentally breaking your makeup box, I wouldn't have known that you let Su Mei do your homework for you. The cat was out of the bag. The matter of having her homework done for her had been exposed, putting Fei Fei in a difficult position. She and Su Mei grew up together, so their bond was very strong. That's why Fei Fei had asked Su Mei to do her homework for her before. But she didn't like Annie Mai. In her past life, Fei Fei's rebelliousness was partly thanks to her. This makes the readers even more curious. What exactly happened? Why was Fei Fei's impression of Su Mei's mother so bad? Su Mei stood to one side, looking extremely apologetic and remorseful. This time, the female lead had angered her mother again. Su Mei, you don't need to mind her. I'm really going to be angered to death by her. The school just sent a notice of criticism a few days ago. I thought you would make some progress, but in the end, you only come home in the middle of the night. What kind of future will a person like you have when you grow up? No matter how much money our family has, it will all be squandered by you. These words from her mother deeply hurt Fei Fei. But what she said wasn't wrong. In the past, she threw money around like it was nothing. If she hadn't been given a chance to live again, she would probably have continued to waste money like that. Mom, I shouldn't have let Su Mei deceive you. It was my fault for being immature before. But tonight, I really was at a classmate's house doing homework. As Fei Fei spoke, she showed her mother the notebook filled with solved problems. Just one look was enough to see how much effort our female lead had put in. Having just been scolded by her mother, Fei Fei was in no mood to talk downstairs anymore and went upstairs and I have class tomorrow. I'm going to rest first. Good night, Mom. Watching her daughters retreating back, Fei Fei's mother seemed to have something to say. A hint of sadness crossed her face. She just hoped the female lead would study harder and not disappoint her parents like in her previous life. Back in her room, Fei Fei looked at the bottles and jars on her vanity, almost all of which were broken, and could only lament her bad luck. For one set of makeup, she had to patiently massage and soothe her mother for a whole week. But Fei Fei also found it strange. After all, these items cost tens of thousands. How could they break so easily? It was as if someone had deliberately destroyed them. At this moment, Su Mei also came in with a look of remorse. Fei Fei, I'm really sorry. I went to the restroom to wash my hands. The floor was slippery, and this happened. Is it very expensive? After all, the things a rich young lady buys are not ordinary. With so much broken, Su Mei was also scared. I'll try my best to save up money to compensate you. But Fei Fei was inherently a kind person. She wouldn't fuss over such things that it's not expensive. They're just common items. Speaking of which, I should thank you for covering for me. Seeing that her friend wasn't asking for compensation, Su Mei was overjoyed. Then she suddenly remembered something and said to the female lead, "Oh right, Fei Fei, here's the latest news from the rocket class. The monthly exam is in 3 days." What? Only 3 days left? How is that enough time for our female lead to review? Oh my God, she hadn't even grasped the knowledge in front of her. and she was already about to face an exam. Who could handle that? Fei had no choice but to ask Su-mei for help. Su-mei, save me. Let me borrow your notes. The notes from the rocket class are all key review points, but the pace of our two classes is different. I'm afraid you'll be even more confused after reading them. Su-mei had no way to help Fei. Indeed, with her current academic level, even with an outline, she probably wouldn't be able to study it. Now, she could only save herself. How about you try to review the textbook these few days? Just learn as much as you can. After speaking, Su-mei also felt that Fei had been acting a bit strange lately. She couldn't help but ask her, why have you suddenly wanted to study recently? Could it be true, like the rumors among the students, that you want to compete with Zhou Jiadong? So the rumors in school had spread that far. This was such an injustice to our female lead that IT has nothing to do with her. I just feel like I've wasted a lot of time, so I should start studying seriously. Don't underestimate the female lead's determination. She has to get into Tsinghua. This is a matter of life and death. Su-mei didn't ask any more questions and just said goodbye and good night to the female lead before leaving. As she passed by the door, the bracelet she was wearing got caught on the door and fell with a clatter. Fei recognized it at a glance as her own bracelet. Hey, isn't that my lost bracelet? I've been looking for it for a long time. Why do you have it? At this point, we can smell something fishy, but it's feared that Fei's trust in Su-mei cannot be shaken so easily. Caught, Su-mei hurriedly apologized and made an excuse to get through it. I'm sorry. I wanted to borrow this bracelet for the book fair last time, but you weren't home, so I forgot to tell you. Our Fei is really too naive. She didn't question Su-mei at all and even allowed her to use her things as she pleased, that it's okay. You can just take and use these accessories. I bought too many anyway. It was just a casual remark with no ill intent, but who knew her kindness would be met with jealousy. Sure enough, after leaving the room, Su-mei revealed her true colors. All she does all day is show off this and that. Isn't it just because her parents have money? Without your parents, you're nothing. Oh, what kind of best friend is this? More like every man for himself. The next day, Fei went to school as usual. Sure enough, the rumor that she wanted to surpass Zhou Jiadong had spread everywhere. There was even a group of girls gathered together, blatantly bad-mouthing the female lead that I heard Dongfang Fei, the one at the bottom of the class, is trying to study hard. They say she wants to surpass Zhou Jiadong in the monthly exam. Is she still dreaming? Besides her face, how can she compare to Zhou Jiadong in anything else? She'd have a better chance if she reincarnated. Fei's underlings heard this and couldn't help but feel indignant for their big sister. Zhou Jiadong's lackeys are so nosy. They even came to another class to gossip. So talkative. Even if it's the truth, you're not supposed to say it out loud. Wait a minute, what the red-haired underling just said sounded wrong. Which side are you on, you little brat? The red-haired underling successfully angered her big sister and even got a beating from the female lead, getting several bumps on her head and having to beg for mercy. After hearing the unpleasant rumors about herself, Fei wouldn't just let them say whatever they wanted. Those who gossip should be re-educated. Subsequently, the way Fei and her underlings took revenge on these people was to block their way to the toilet. The blonde underling with her long, slender legs raised them to block the restroom door, not letting anyone in. How could the other girls accept this? Don't go too far. I'm going to tell the teacher. But they were all talk. The red-haired and orange-haired underlings had already blocked them from behind. The group of girls, trapped in the middle, unable to advance or retreat, began to weaken. Then why was that girl allowed in just now? The blonde underling spoke up, dealing them a fatal blow. Oh, sorry. Only you guys aren't allowed in. Sister Fei said your mouths are so foul, your poop would be even fouler. It would pollute the school's air. This sentence was truly devastating, leaving the group of girls speechless. At this moment, the bell for class rang. The three girls were still blocked and couldn't leave. How are they going to get to class? These girls are still blocking the way. They probably won't dare to block it for long. Our female lead, seeing the three girls' timid and fearful appearance, didn't make things difficult for them anymore and decided to let them go. After all, she had to get back to class. Studying was the top priority. Seeing the three girls who badmouthed Fei being late for class made the whole group feel somewhat satisfied. At this moment, a brawl was happening on the stairs. A frail male student was cornered against the wall. His documents fell to the ground, scattered everywhere, and were even stepped on by the bullies who laughed contemptuously. Oh my God. Project Hope? Why don't you focus on developing your own moral, intellectual, and physical well-being? Being so physically weak is not good. The blue-haired male student endured the abuse, but did not submit to the bullies. He picked himself up, his attitude very impatient. "Are you done hitting me? It's time for class." This handsome, frail, blue-haired male student was named Qin Shi. He was also the famous CEO who would have tens of billions in the future. Qin Shi was admitted directly to Mingda thanks to his excellent grades. This person was a typical example of a poor student who overcame difficulties. His home was far from school, requiring him to walk for several hours. To get there, his family was not well off, but his exam rankings were always second only to the male lead, Nieshinai. Qin Shi's personality was taciturn and quiet, so he was often bullied by his classmates. Even so, this young man was very persistent and never gave up. His will to study was extremely high. He used his spare time to both work part-time and solve all his homework problems. Juggling so many things and still being able to rank second in the entire grade, this was surely a treasure. Our female lead has a lot to learn from him. Qin Shi's efforts were not in vain. His hard work paid off handsomely. After his second year of university, Qin Shi used stocks to start a new project, building himself up from scratch. Soon, he became extremely wealthy, with 20 billion in his hands, becoming one of the famous and respected bosses. He was no longer the taciturn boy who could only swallow his grievances in high school. In her past life, the female lead who pursued an acting career had to expend a great deal of effort to win a role in a film invested in by Qin Shi. Therefore, in the present, she knew at a glance that sooner or later, Qin Shi would become incredibly formidable in the not-so-distant future. But right now, he was just a weak male student who was freely bullied by his classmates. The delinquent, seeing Qin Shi's annoyed face, also got angry. "Damn, are you teaching me how to hit you? Let me hit you right in the face to satisfy you." Seeing that a fight was about to break out, Fei couldn't just stand by and watch. She stepped forward to stop the delinquent. "I saw the rocket class teacher coming. He's the teacher's pet, so you should disperse." Her one-time reputation as a big sister made the delinquents somewhat fearful. And thanks to that, Qin Shi escaped a beating. If a poor guy like you has quite the luck with girls. I'll let it go this time out of respect for Sister Fei. We'll continue next time. Watching the delinquents leave resentfully while still threatening Qin Shi, Fei just felt that these people were truly foolish, completely blind. In the future, he'll be so rich you can't even imagine. Actually, Fei saved Qin Shi not because of money. She didn't expect anything from befriending the top student. It was just that she hated school violence the most and wanted to help. "Classmate Qin Shi, are you okay?" Fei smiled warmly and extended her hand, wanting to help him up. But how could Qin Shi accept her kindness? He had seen everything she did in front of the girls' restroom earlier. The top student already had a bad impression of the female lead upon their first meeting. Qin Shi was extremely cold, stood up by himself, and walked past Fei. He flatly rejected her good intentions and even said sarcastically, "You're no different from them." The blonde underling, seeing this, was furious that what's with that attitude? Sister Fei just saved him. In contrast to her underlings, Fei wasn't angry at all. "I didn't expect him to be so cute as a teenager." Who could resist such two completely different extremes? Not being upset about being thought of badly was one thing, but the female lead even called him cute, leaving her underlings speechless and helpless. What a waste of worry. Sister Fei's values have never been normal. Very quickly, the female lead put the encounter with the future CEO aside. Right now, she had to find a way to pass the upcoming exam. Desperate, our female lead could only resort to spiritual matters. It is said that at Mingda High School, besides studying hard, there were 3 spiritual rituals passed down to help students at the bottom of the class pass exams, called the 3 metaphysics. How could the female lead Fei miss out? She quickly learned about them and followed them to the letter. The first metaphysic was called the Wunchong Fortune Ritual, planting a tree for good luck. Take 4 small bamboo stalks, plant them in a pot, and place them in the Wunchong position to let them thrive. The second metaphysic was the behavioral fortune ritual. Before an exam, you must not wash your hair, as the knowledge in your head will be washed away with the water. On the day of the exam, you should wear Nike because its logo is just do it. In addition, eat 3 full meals. As long as you do everything the second metaphysic requires, you will surely pass. The ultimate metaphysical practice is the worship of the study god, according to which the pre-exam ritual is to worship the number 1 ranked student, Nyashinai. This person always had good grades in his sophomore year, and in his junior year, he was always at the top of the grade. Those at the bottom of the class asked for nothing more than to have 1/10 of the top student's knowledge, which would be enough to survive. Feifei did exactly as the ancients passed down. Coupled with her diligent studying day and night without rest, the day of the exam finally arrived. This was the moment for the female lead to show her true skills. She picked up her pen, full of confidence. She saw the exam paper before her as an enemy, a hurdle she must overcome. She was certain she could get into Tsinghua and change her fate of being murdered. But unfortunately for our female lead, the moment she put pen to paper, reality slapped her hard across the face. The literature exam required finding the inappropriate word in a context, but to Feifei, every word seemed correct. The math exam was a complete disaster. One look at the questions made her dizzy. Feifei couldn't understand the questions and could only seriously scribble down random answers, hoping for the mercy of the teacher. After the test ended, Feifei's followers were even more excited than their big sister when they saw her walk out. Sister Fei, I can't believe no subject proctor had to remind you to turn your paper. Could it be that you finished them all? Right now, Feifei just felt extremely tired. It was clear that she didn't do as well on this exam as she had imagined. When someone asked how she did, she just answered listlessly, "Yeah, otherwise I just wrote something down. I feel like it's probably better than before, or else it would be a disservice to my hard work these past few days. If I had known it would be this hard, I should have focused on studying from the very beginning. Why did I get involved with that scum male only to struggle like this?" The female lead's sudden U-turn to focus on her studies made many people jealous and hateful. She's just putting on an act. Just wait until the scores are out. Low intelligence is beyond saving. To know if they were right, we had to wait for the day the exam results were released. Very soon, the ranking board was posted for the whole school to see. The female lead and her girl squad hurried over to look. "Sister Fei, you worked so hard before. I was skeptical at first, but now I really feel you've made progress." Even though her blonde-haired follower said that, the female lead searched for a long time, but still couldn't find her name. The top 5 on the leaderboard were all unfamiliar names. The most familiar was still Nyashinai, who maintained his top position, with Qin Shi ranked 2nd and Zhou Jiasu ranked 9th. Above and below her, there was no sign of Dongfang Feifei's name. Scanning from the scoreboards of other subjects to the literature subject that Feifei had chosen, the female lead's name was still nowhere to be seen. The 2 female students who had mocked her before were now even more smug. How long will it take if you start searching from the top down? Try searching from the bottom up. There's good news there. Although those 2 female students were just being contemptuous of Feifei, what they said wasn't entirely without reason. The blonde-haired follower seemed to have realized something and didn't dare to search anymore, wanting to pull Feifei away, but the female lead still wouldn't give up. Feifei really did try searching from the bottom up, and just as those 2 female students had said, her name appeared. Dongfang Feifei was ranked 3rd, but it was 3rd from the bottom. This time, our female lead probably suffered a considerable blow. The other students who knew about it wouldn't leave her alone either. Didn't she say she would surpass Zhou Jiasu in this month's exam? That's right. Jiasu's friends heard it all. These male students were really asking for a beating, taunting someone who was already sad about her low rank. It's been a while since I've seen someone eat their own words like this. Is that all? 3rd from the bottom. Ha. Don't say that. Her attitude towards studying is very good. Being mocked, Feifei had no way to retort. The results were so clear that it was hard for her to argue back. The blonde-haired follower also felt sorry for her big sister. Although it was true that Feifei got a low score, the story about her wanting to surpass Zhou Jiasu was just a genuine rumor. Those students kept using it to mock her, making it impossible for her to endure any longer. I don't know what kind of person would spread such baseless rumors. I have never said I would compare myself to anyone. I study for myself. Although the result isn't good, it's still better than those of you who have nothing better to do than gossip. Being dissed by the female lead. Those male students became angry out of embarrassment and bristled, calling her a loud-mouthed idiot. Who knows if this bunch was any better at studying, yet they dare to look down on someone else's efforts. The female lead couldn't be bothered with them. But it was true that studying day and night, only to end up third from the bottom, made Fei feel very sad. After being reborn, she often dreamed of the moment she was killed. A flash of light, a cold blade piercing her chest, the killer's expression, and the feeling of her life gradually fading away still haunted her mind. That moment was what always reminded Fei that if she didn't want to die, she had to seriously complete this mission. But the trouble was, the college entrance exam was like 1,000 soldiers and 10,000 horses crossing a single narrow bridge, fraught with difficulties, let alone getting into Tsinghua or Peking University. It was truly a difficult task for our female lead. Her knowledge base was too poor. She had returned everything to her teachers right after graduation, and now that she was reborn, her mind was a complete blank, making the review process even more arduous. Getting into Tsinghua within 2 years seemed like an impossible task. Could it be that she could only wait for death? The female lead was standing on the rooftop, lost in sorrowful thought, and was mistaken for someone about to jump off the building. Before Fei could react, someone pulled her back from behind. It turned out to be the male lead, Nieshinai. Just when the female lead was at her saddest, the male lead appeared. This must be fate. What else could it be? Fei had also reached her breaking point and couldn't hold back her tears. Nieshinai continued to hold Fei, not letting go. What are you doing? Let me go. No. Let go. No. While the two were still struggling back and forth, Lu Fang's followers, who were looking for the female lead, happened to open the rooftop door and walk in. Witnessing this hug that was not in line with public decency really made one's face turn red. Oh my God, that I didn't see anything. Sorry to disturb you. Even Nieshinai thought she was heartbroken because of that scum male. Don't overthink it. There's nothing going on between Lu Fang and Zhou Jiasu. It turned out the male lead was desperately holding her back, just because of a misunderstanding. Fei, how could you ruin your life for someone like Lu Fang? You've had such a hard time being reborn. Who's trying to die for that scum male? I'm crying because I ranked third from the bottom, and I wasn't planning to jump off the building either. After hearing the female lead's explanation, the male lead realized that they had been in rather close contact all this time, and had even been unintentionally showing public displays of affection for others to see. This is so embarrassing. Boo-hoo. As long as you don't die in front of me, it's fine. Seeing a girl cry and not comforting her, instead saying such cold words. Hey, don't you have any compassion? I don't want to play games with you and Lu Fang. It turns out our male lead is the type who is cold on the outside, but warm on the inside. Although Nieshinai acted indifferent, his kindness in saving her had moved the female lead that I actually dared to shout at him just now. But seeing how worried he was that I would jump, he doesn't seem as cold as I imagined. Our Fei now has a different view of the male lead. They will surely meet a lot more in the future. And at this moment, it was time for class. In the classroom, the math teacher had already started the lesson, but the followers couldn't find Fei anywhere. They assumed our female lead had given up. Sister Fei isn't here for math class either. Is she going back to her old ways? This self-inflicted slap came too quickly. Let's just leave her alone for a few days. But sorry, how could you underestimate the will of someone who is determined to get into Tsinghua? Sure enough, Fei appeared right at the classroom door, present. Sorry, teacher, I was in the restroom just now. This resolute attitude of Fei's truly made her girl squad admire her. Wow, sister, your spirit moves me so much. Fei would absolutely not give up halfway. Even if this mission couldn't be completed, she still wanted to give it a try. After all, this was a chance to live again. If I pass the exam, it's fine. These 2 years won't be a loss. And the recent encounter between Fei and Nieshinai was witnessed by a good brother of Lu Fang, Dado. Although my relationship with Nieshinai isn't bad, Nieshinai wasn't very righteous in this matter. After all, Lu Fang and I grew up together since childhood. I wonder if I should tell Lu Fang about this. The male and female leads engaging in shady business in broad daylight at school really makes it easy for others to misunderstand. That male student had already started to suspect. The good follower suspected his big brother was being cheated on. Lu Fong, however, was completely oblivious. At lunchtime, he was still worried about Fei Fei. Usually, Fei Fei is the first one out of the classroom, but recently, she's been looking for teachers to ask questions after class. As Lu Fong spoke, he habitually ordered his favorite dishes. Big brother, this won't do. The followers were determined to let Lu Fong know about this. Know nothing? Get a portion of steamed spinach, stir-fried cabbage, and a portion of Napa cabbage. Brother Fong, don't eat so much meat, eat more vegetables. Supplement with vitamins A, B, C, E, F, G. That's right, Brother Fong. Look, this green color means it's very nutritious. By now, you should know what they were implying. The followers had already said this much, wanting to point out to Lu Fong that he was being cheated on. Lu Fong still didn't get it and wanted to order a Coke, but was stopped. Why drink Coke? Sister, give me a Sprite. That's right, Coke is unhealthy. Getting a cup of ice cream is also fine. And so, Lu Fong's lunch today was a tray of lush green food. Just looking at it made him lose his appetite. Lu Fong's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. You guys, could it be that you're seeing Lu Fong's expression? The followers thought their big brother had finally been enlightened. My God, was the hint too obvious? I can't believe Brother Fong has so many people on the outside, yet someone in his harem is cheating on him. This kind of thing hurts a man's pride. Brother Fong is going to be devastated in a moment. But they were disappointed. Not only did Lu Fong not understand his followers' good intentions, but he also thought ill of them. You guys are being so considerate. Could it be you've done something against the rules for me to take the fall for? We've been so wronged. To save their own skins, the followers quickly shook their heads and denied it profusely, and oh no, we deeply admire our big brother's divine might. Today, your handsomeness made female students' ovaries explode just by looking. The flattery from these delinquents is really too vulgar. Lu Fong felt like puking just hearing it. Enough. I haven't even eaten yet, and I already want to puke. Feeling that expressing their intentions through actions alone was truly ineffective, the followers finally had to mention something more obvious, not forgetting to flatter their big brother, Brother Fong. Have you considered changing your hair color? Being too handsome is also a crime. You could change to a more playful color, for example, green. No, I only like red. Even at this point, Brother Fong still didn't get the hint. The followers were really at their wits' end and had to spell out, but saying it directly was a bit too blunt, so they decided to send a message to the group chat. Brother Fong, summoning Brother Fong. Why are you messaging on WeChat when we're face to face? Go see a doctor. Lu Fong also felt that his good brothers were acting sick today. To avoid making their big brother lose his patience and get angry, they all sent the green hat icon in unison that if you still don't get it this time, I'll give up. After seeing it, Lu Fong turned off his phone and slammed it on the table. The rough action immediately made the followers shrink back in fear. Oh, that's what you meant. The author was also kind enough to give Lu Fong a lush green meadow background. But it seems that even after he found out, he still trusted the female lead completely. That I don't believe it. Don't talk nonsense. We love each other very much. At this moment, no matter what anyone said, Lu Fong's heart was as steady as a tripod. Seeing this, the followers felt helpless on Lu Fong's behalf. All that effort for nothing. Is this what they call true love? At this moment, the school bell, Zhou Jiasu, walked over. Lu Fong. Thank you for carrying me to the infirmary the other day. Being approached by the goddess, the usual Lu Fong should have been happy. But today the sun rose from the west. He just said politely, oh, it was a small thing, what I should do. I thought this guy had turned over a new leaf, but it turns out it was just because he saw the female lead walking in. Now I'm sure this scum male, Lu Fong, only wants to conquer the female lead. He couldn't care less about anything else. But it's undeniable that Zhou Jiasu is indeed a beauty, both beautiful and gentle. I'm still very grateful to you. This piece of cake is a gift. The moment Zhou Jiasu smiled, countless male students fell for her. No wonder in the previous life, Lu Fong ignored Fei Fei to flirt with her. The followers sitting next to him also blushed in admiration. My God, that's great, Brother Fong. Why did Brother Fong accept it without saying a word? That's the school bell. The number of Mingda's students who, like her, could fill a classroom. Lu Fong did not refuse the school bell's kind gesture. Sure enough, his philandering nature was deeply ingrained in his blood. The female lead's girl squad witnessed everything and felt indignant for her. So, Just like the scum male's followers, they advised their big sister to eat green food. This was also to imply that Fei was being cheated on. You should eat more broccoli and also spinach and Napa cabbage. For drinks, you can order Sprite or ice cream. Love is truly a green light, and being cheated on is enough to make a person panic. Haha, it's like a trip to Zon. But how could the female lead be heartbroken over this scum male anymore? She was actually happy. If they were starting to get together, her breakup with the scum male was only a matter of time. Thinking about not being bothered by the scum male while she was studying in the future, the female lead's heart felt incredibly relieved. The meal of all green vegetables also became unusually delicious. At this moment, Lu Fong had, at some point, walked over to the female lead's table. He placed the cake he had just received from Zhou Jiasu on her food tray and said, "I remember you really like this kind of cake. You came late, so they were probably all taken." Damn him. He took another girl's kind gesture to flirt with someone else. Seeing Lu Fong suddenly acting so intimate, the female lead also felt awkward. Thank you. Put the cake down. You should go first. Oh no, she forgot that Lu Fong seemed to really like this pure and obedient type of student. Now that she had reverted to that type, it was no different from becoming his ideal girlfriend. Sure enough, Lu Fong didn't let her shoo him away so easily. "I was kind enough to give you a cake, and you're in such a hurry for me to leave? I already said thank you." No matter how much the female lead tried to push him away, if he wasn't shameless, he wouldn't deserve the title of scum male. Lu Fong took advantage of Fei's inattention and leaned down to kiss her on the cheek. This kiss not only made Fei, but also her entire girl squad blush. After committing his utterly shameless act, the scum male Lu Fong even smiled domineeringly and said, "I've taken my return gift." Ah, this is really making the readers die of anger. Although scum males are all shameless, they have the advantage of good looks. The female lead also used to have a secret crush on him, so her resistance was still not very high, and she was easily teased. With this level of looks, even if Lu Fong's family went bankrupt, he could still rely on his face to debut in the entertainment industry. Making a living with his face would be no trouble at all. That's why they say the beauty trap is never outdated. Fei's girl squad also seemed to have a good impression of a handsome guy like Lu Fong. This cake was given to Brother Fong by Zhou Jiasu, and Brother Fong immediately gave it to you. Zhou Jiasu's followers were so angry their faces turned pale. It seems Lu Fong has a very good relationship with girls, but Fei is the only one in a romantic relationship like this. Even though her girl squad was also shipping her and Lu Fong, our Fei couldn't continue to be foolish. In her past life, before she broke up with Lu Fong, looking at this picture, she could see he was so scummy he couldn't be washed clean. Even if she was a fool, she couldn't be fooled twice by the same trick. As she was walking, she saw two female students ahead laughing and gossiping about someone, which made Fei curious. She turned to look and realized that Nie Shinai was walking in front of her. When Nie Shinai saw Fei, he didn't say anything, just silently looked at her for a long time. Fei didn't understand what he wanted, so she just stared back blankly. Seeing the female lead's slow reaction, Nie Shinai let out a helpless sigh. Then he suddenly took off the jacket he was wearing and handed it to Fei. "Tie this around your waist and go to the restroom." Nie Shinai's words finally made Fei come to her senses. She looked down at the back of her skirt, and, sure enough, there was a spreading red stain that made her face flush with embarrassment. Fei's girl squad also noticed. "Wow, sister, your Annie has arrived. The blood is flowing like a river." A lot of male students saw it while you were walking. Fortunately, thanks to the male lead's discovery, the female lead managed to save some face. It seems the person who gave you the uniform just now was Nie Shinai. I heard he's very aloof and doesn't speak more than 3 sentences to girls. Since when did you have such a good relationship with him? Seeing her girl squad questioning her like this, Fei just gave a perfunctory answer. "It's not a good relationship. We're just acquaintances." But then again, Fei felt that she should still thank Nie Shinai today. Otherwise, she would have been too embarrassed. After school, Fei went to a laundry shop to salvage the pitiful skirt from this morning. This uniform material is very easy to damage. The dried bloodstain is very difficult to wash out. It will cost extra. A casual remark from the shop employee struck our female lead like a bolt from the blue. The dry cleaning fee is making my life even gloomier. Fei shed tears of sorrow. The important thing is, even if it's cleaned, I don't know if he'll mind. But if it's not cleaned, I won't have anything to wear. Fei Fei could only reluctantly hand over the money. Outside the laundry area, there was also a place selling food. Her girl squad was already waiting. The blonde-haired follower couldn't help but ask, "Why did you choose this place? This fast food joint isn't good at all." Our female lead had no choice. The money problem was really too serious. "I'm so poor I have to drink mineral water. If it weren't for running out of water, I wouldn't have come out. From now on, don't call me for any activity that costs more than 5 yuan." Seeing the female lead now looking like a pauper, her girl squad not only didn't offer to help, but also teased her. "Sister, do you know what this sentence means? It means this friendship will have to wait until you open a credit tab to be mended." While they were talking, an argument broke out at a table near the female lead. A waiter had accidentally spilled food on a customer's leg and was being reprimanded by him. And this customer was a pervert who didn't even spare men. His eyes smiled despicably, and his mouth was even drooling. "Little friend, it seems my leg is burned. Bend down and take a look." As he spoke, he even reached out his hand, wanting to wrap it around the waiter's waist and grope him. Working as a waiter here is very hard. "Uncle can help you." This pervert made the waiter feel extremely disgusted, and he struggled hard. "Get your hands off me." It turned out this waiter was none other than Qin Shi. After school, he didn't go home, but had to work part-time here, and today he was unlucky enough to be harassed by a customer. Seeing this injustice, Fei Fei didn't hesitate to draw her sword and help. Immediately, a tray of food was dumped all over the pervert's face. "You're truly a disgusting, hopeless case. I'm going to puke," Fei Fei said as she grabbed Qin Shi's hand and pulled him behind her to shield him. The pervert didn't hold back and let out a stream of curses. "You dare curse? Don't you see where you are? You're old and ugly, and you still want to harass a male student. Your mother must be so ashamed to have given birth to you." Fei Fei was not only unafraid, but also scolded him to smithereens. Every curse was music to the ears that a beauty only deserves a strong man. "Look in the mirror and see if you're worthy, you pervert. You only dare to bully a waiter here. Do you believe I'll call 110? This commotion attracted the attention of the other customers in the restaurant, so everyone pointed their arrows at the pervert, forcing him to tuck his tail and run. After being helped by Fei Fei twice, Qin Shi finally felt grateful. He shook off Fei Fei's hand, maintaining his distance, but not forgetting to say thank you. But the female lead couldn't let it go so easily. Qin Shi is a top student. He could help her, so she was determined to win him over. So, before Qin Shi could react, Fei Fei lifted her leg and cornered him against the wall. "Hey, this is the second time. Is this how you thank people?" Qin Shi frowned, but he wasn't the type to be ungrateful, so he reluctantly replied, "How do you want me to thank you?" Struggling to swim in the vast sea of high school knowledge, the female lead finally found her life raft in the future CEO before her. Fei Fei's eyes sparkled, her attitude extremely sincere as she begged Qin SHI.MY math is really bad. "Tutor me a little. I'm begging you." But Qin Shi couldn't be persuaded so quickly that I didn't need you to help me. You were the one who rushed in. You have no sense of gratitude at all. Just when it seemed Fei Fei was about to be rejected, Qin Shi spoke again. "But tutoring is not impossible. The market price is 300 an hour. Since you're a classmate, I'll charge you 200 paid daily. No credit, round and round." It all came back to the problem of money. Fei Fei was truly in dire straits and had to turn to her girl squad for help. "Sisters, let our ship of sisterhood set sail." Before she could finish her sentence, they had vanished without a trace. When it comes to money, even good sisters become strangers. It's true that you can't rely on anyone but yourself. The harsh reality made the pitiful female lead sob. What kind of sisterhood is this? Because she had no money, the matter of finding a tutor could only be temporarily put aside. Besides math, there was also literature, for which Fei Fei had to buy more materials. She couldn't help but sigh. "After buying the literature books, I only have 32 yuan left. There's still a week to go. I don't even dare to call a taxi. I'm so tired." As Fei Fei was walking sorrowfully past a nearby bush, she suddenly heard a noise. A cute white cat appeared out of nowhere. It had round, pomegranate-colored eyes. Its small mouth and soft fur made one want to hug and cuddle it. The moment Fei Fei saw the kitten, her eyes lit up. "Wow, what a cute kitten." She reached out and stroked the little cat's head. "Cute kitten, why did you come out of the grass like this? Where is your owner?" Having met the kitten, Fei Fei lingered. She squatted down, took out a sausage she was carrying and offered it to the little cat. Little cutie, are you hungry? I have this left over from my fast food meal. Do you want it? The kitten saw the food offered to its mouth. It sniffed it a little with its small nose, then opened its mouth and took a bite. The kitten's willingness to eat the food she offered made Fei-Fei feel extremely happy. Wow, so cute. Your fur is so soft. After the little cat finished the sausage, it didn't run away but trotted along behind Fei-Fei's feet as if it wanted her to take it home. Why do you keep following me? I don't have any more sausages. Although she said that, seeing such an adorable little cat, how could Fei-Fei have the heart to abandon it? She picked up the cat and held it in her arms. Looking at you, you must have run out from some rich, beautiful lady's house. All right then, I'll take you home for a few days and see if anyone posts a lost cat notice. And so, from this day on, Fei-Fei had a little friend to keep her company. Meanwhile, on the basketball court, a match was taking place between Lu Feng and Ye-Xin-ai. The tall, vibrant, and passionate male students skillfully shot the ball into the hoop. Countless female students stood by, watching, shouting, and cheering. Ye-Xin-ai scored 2 consecutive points, leaving Lu Feng thoroughly impressed and admitting defeat. It seemed they had a bet before the match, so it looked like Lu Feng would have to treat Ye-Xin-ai to a meal today. After the match ended, Lu Feng said to Ye-Xin-ai, "Say it, where are we eating?" "The usual place," Ye-Xin-ai said as he used a towel to wipe the sweat dripping from his body. Right after the game, countless female students were waiting to give Lu Feng towels and water. On any other day, he might have accepted. But today, Lu Feng noticed Fei-Fei sitting in the stands, studying intently, so he certainly wouldn't pass up the chance to win over the female lead. "Move aside. My girlfriend already brought me water." Lu Feng pushed through the crowd, took off his sports jersey to reveal firm six-pack abs that made countless female students swoon. He grinned and approached the female lead, even saying narcissistically, "Fei Bao, have you been waiting long? Were you mesmerized by my handsome posture?" This Lu Feng really thinks too highly of himself. What smell of sweat? It's clearly all his natural body scent. Did Fei-Fei come specially to cheer for me today? Hearing his cheesy lines, the female lead felt goosebumps rise all over. She scoffed inwardly. "What are you thinking? If I didn't have to pay Ye-Xin-ai back for the uniform, I wouldn't have come." Ye-Xin-ai grabbed the basketball. He turned to urge Lu Feng, "Aren't you treating us to a meal? Let's go." Lu Feng still wouldn't let the female lead go. "You go ahead. I'll be right there." With that, Lu Feng very naturally took Fei-Fei's hand and pulled her along. Ye-Xin-ai's team was 2 points behind, so I'm taking a big hit today. Come on, go change with me. How about we eat your favorite barbecue today? How could Fei-Fei agree to his proposal? "Let go of me." That's the men's changing room over there. But this notoriously thick-skinned Lu Feng, of course, wouldn't listen to Fei-Fei, and the changing room door wasn't even closed. The moment they arrived, everything inside was in full view of the female lead. The group of guys, who had just taken off their shirts, were utterly horrified to see a female student appear. They all screamed in unison, instinctively covering their little brothers. Luckily, they weren't stark naked, otherwise it would have been too much for innocent eyes. Both sides were scared out of their wits by the other. Fei-Fei couldn't stay a moment longer and rushed out. "Sorry, I didn't do it on purpose." Lu Feng had infuriated her. "What are you doing? Do you see me as one of your bros or something?" This shameless scum male is truly shameless. Being scolded by the female lead, he just laughed jokingly, "Ha ha ha. I found you so cute lately that I want to pocket these moments and take them with me. Wait for me obediently at the school gate, okay?" In the end, it was just as Lu Feng wanted. The female lead had no choice but to sit outside and wait for the group of boys inside to finish changing. She even took the opportunity to sit and flip through her textbook to study, trying to make the most of her time. In her heart, she was cursing Lu Feng up and down. "I haven't even memorized my literature text, and this Lu Feng is already dragging me to eat barbecue. It's really affecting my studies. When will this scoundrel ever get what's coming to him?" At that moment, the first person to come out of the changing room was Ye-Xin-ai. Fei-Fei remembered the jacket she had to return to him and ran over. "Ye-Xin-ai, wait a minute. This is your uniform from that day. I've washed it." Remembering the embarrassing incident from that day, Fei-Fei couldn't help but blush, her words faltering. Ye-Xin-ai didn't seem to mind what happened that day. He just hummed an acknowledgement, took the jacket from Fei Fei's hand, and put on directly. Just as he turned to leave, Fei Fei called out to Nie Xinai again. Her face was flushed as she said awkwardly, "Hey, about that. On it." The words were about to come out, but when she met Nie Xinai's gaze, Fei Fei suddenly choked. Her mind was screaming frantically, I was just about to say that even though it's clean, if he minds, I'll buy him a new one. How do I bring it up now? Nie Xinai seemed to notice the atmosphere between them was a bit awkward. He coughed lightly. Fei Fei still couldn't bring herself to say it. Anyway, thank you very much. I'll be going now. Just as she was about to slip away, before Fei Fei could do anything, someone suddenly grabbed her hair from behind, holding her back, out of the frying pan and into the fire. Lu Fang had come out. The female lead was really unlucky today. I already said we're eating barbecue together. Where you try to run off to? Ow, let go quick. I have to go home and do my literature homework. No way. I'll take you home after we eat. This scoundrel was determined not to let Fei Fei go, insisting she go with him, leaving Fei Fei with no choice but to follow him to the restaurant. The place they had arranged to meet was a barbecue joint. Lu Fang's underlings were laughing and talking about the video games they all played. Nie Xinai was quietly grilling meat, while Fei Fei, sitting next to him, was seriously flipping through her notebook to study. Alas, our times are out of joint, and our fates are full of frustrations. Feng Tang aged all too easily. Li Guang was hardly rewarded with a fief. Jia, he was demoted to Changsha, etc., etc. Just hearing these literary lines was headache-inducing. Our female lead is truly persevering, which I admire. Fei Fei was so focused on her studies that she didn't notice her surroundings, carelessly picking up Nie Xinai's glass of water and drinking from it. The male lead even had to speak up to remind her, and while he was at it, he corrected our female lead's work that you're pausing at the wrong places. It seems you don't understand the meaning at all. What's the use of memorizing it like that? Also, the glass you're holding is mine. This one sentence from Nie Xinai made Fei Fei freeze. Stiff, she spat out the mouthful of water she had just drunk and then apologized profusely. So sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Nie Xinai was also at a loss for words. He acted as if he didn't mind much and turned back to continue grilling the meat. Seeing the cold-top student like this, Fei Fei didn't dare to make another peep, silently shedding tears. This pillar of support is sturdy, but too fierce. I don't dare to rely on him, boo-hoo. The little white cat that the female lead had picked up a few days ago jumped up joyfully to greet Fei Fei the moment she returned home today. Fei Fei hugged it and asked affectionately, "Hey, little cutie, did you come out to greet me?" Aunt Mai, Chu Mei's mother, did not like this cat. Fei Fei, where did you pick up this cat? Get rid of it quickly. It's broken a lot of things these past 2 days. Sisterly will definitely be angry when she gets back. How could Fei Fei listen to her and throw away this pitiful stray cat? She retorted, "This isn't a stray cat. I've been taking care of it for a few days. Someone will come looking for it soon." Aunt Mai still looked disapproving, but it's a stray cat. She wanted to nag some more, but was stopped by Chu Mei. "Mom, it's just a cat. If it's mischievous, we can keep it in a cage." Chu Mei approached the kitten, looking at it with a kind and gentle facade. She even defended Fei Fei. A cat this cute definitely isn't stray. It turned out Chu Mei wasn't so nice after all. She hid her phone behind her back, not wanting Fei Fei to see the lost cat post she had just seen. It turned out to be the lost cat of a wealthy family living in the Baitandu, Shengyuan area named Schrodinger. It would respond if you called its name. The reason Chu Mei didn't want to get rid of the little cat was all too clear, because the post said that whoever found it would be rewarded with a full 100,000 yuan. How could she let such a huge windfall slip away? Fei Fei also knew that the little cat couldn't stay at her house for too long, so she decided to proactively find its owner. The next morning, she would go to the animal protection office. She left the little cat at home, gently stroking its head before she left. "Little cutie, I'm going to the animal protection office to ask if your owner is looking for you, okay?" As soon as Fei Fei reached the gate, her private driver arrived. "Fei Fei, aren't you taking the car to school today?" "Uncle Zhou, I have something to do. I need to go to the animal protection office." "You can take Chu Mei first." Seeing that Fei Fei had left, Chu Mei also began to make her move. She made an excuse to Uncle Zhou. "Uncle Zhou, I have plans with a classmate. You don't need to pick me up. You can go back to the company first. After sending the female lead's private driver away, Chumei went to find the cat Fei Fei had picked up. I'm sure everyone has already guessed what for. It was clear this little cat had no good feelings towards Chumei. It shrank back, looking at her with extreme vigilance. At this moment, Chumei revealed her true nature, that a cat that's worth 100,000. I really don't understand what rich people are thinking. She smiled slyly, her eyes full of calculation as she looked at the kitten. Humph. Seeing how much she likes this cat, her expression will surely be priceless when she can't find it anymore. That's right, this cat can be exchanged for money. That money is mine. With that, she reached out to grab the kitten, but was fiercely scratched by it, breaking the skin on her hand. In pain, Chumei kicked the little cat hard, injuring it. It lay weakly on the ground, while she started spewing harsh words. You little devil. How dare you bite me? After assaulting the little cat, Chumei shamelessly took it to the address on the post to claim the money. As soon as she arrived, she was overwhelmed by the size and magnificence of the villa before her. Chumei exclaimed, "This house looks even bigger than Dongfang Fei Fei's." Chumei rang the doorbell without a shred of guilt. Very quickly, the large gate opened, and the person who stepped out was none other than Yashinai. Chumei was extremely surprised to see him. Classmate Yashinai. So this is your house. What a coincidence. Chumei's face was all smiles upon seeing Yashinai, while the little cat in her arms looked scared and listless. Seeing its owner, it only let out a weak meow before quickly jumping down from Chumei's arms and running to him. Yashinai immediately saw that his beloved cat was injured. He raised his voice angrily. What happened to its leg? How could a schemer like Chu Mei tell the truth? She even wanted to take this opportunity to frame Fei Fei. In her mind, Yashinai was also a notorious troublemaker at school. As long as he was unhappy, he would get physical. So if he knew this cat was injured by Fei Fei, she would definitely be in trouble. Thinking she was about to watch a good show, Chumei put on the innocent face she had worn for all these years and started making things up that a few days ago. Dongfang Fei Fei brought this cat home. When she's in a bad mood, she abuses it. I couldn't bear to see it, and just so happened to see a lost cat notice from the Animal Protection Office, so I brought it over to see. I didn't expect it to be your cat. Oh, this morning Fei Fei even kicked it. Chumei's lies flowed so smoothly. Anyone who didn't know better might have thought it was the truth. But who is our Yashinai? He would absolutely not trust this kind of hypocrite. Before Chu Mei could finish her sentence, he cut her off loudly without any reservation. Are you done? If you're done, then get lost. Seeing that her plan had failed and that she had been exposed and yelled at by the male lead, Chu Mei's face turned pale with fright. What? In the afternoon, when Fei Fei returned from school, she happily called the little cat's name as she entered the door. Rodinger. Little cutie. For some reason, the little cat had returned to Fei Fei's house. It was still in its small crate. Seeing Fei Fei, it let out a few pitiful meows. Hearing it, Fei Fei immediately hugged the little cat, happily telling it, Rodinger, you're here? I found your owner for you. It turns out your name is Roding. It was only then that Fei Fei noticed the little cat's leg was injured. Worried, she rushed to return the little cat to its owner, not knowing that Chu Mei was also at home, standing on the second floor, staring at her with jealous eyes. Building B, Unit 08. This is it. When Fei Fei found the little cat's home, it was just as Yashinai was returning. Seeing her, Yashinai frowned and asked, "What are you doing in front of my house?" Being called out, so suddenly startled, Fei Yashinai, why did you sneak up on me like that? You scared my cat and made me drop it. After coming to her senses, Fei realized the place she was standing was Yashinai's home. So, this is your house. Then this is your cat. Yashinai knelt down and stroked the little cat's head, his expression gentle, a complete contrast to when he spoke with Chu Mei. He nodded, let's talk inside. Watching Yashinai's back as he carried the kitten into the luxurious apartment, Fei couldn't help but feel pressured. I can't believe it's his cat. What do I do? It's a little scary. Is it too late to run? Inside the house, Yashinai took out a pair of cat paw-shaped slippers and gave them to Fei. These are guest slippers prepared for female visitors. They're new. Fei politely accepted them and said thank you. But the more she looked at them, the more familiar the slippers seemed. Fei remembered. These slippers were identical to the ones she wore at her tutor's house during her first year of high school. What a coincidence. But was it really a different pair? She only saw Nyeshinai, walking ahead with the kitten, secretly blushing. A middle-aged woman with a kind face came out to greet the two. "Shun Shun, you're back from school?" She smiled gently, then looked at the female lead with some surprise. "Oh, and this is?" Fei Fei also politely greeted the woman. "Hello, ma'am. I'm a schoolmate of Nyeshinyes. My name is Dongfang Fei Fei." After hearing her introduction, the middle-aged woman became extremely emotional. She took her hand, tears of joy in her eyes. "So you're a schoolmate, and such a beautiful girl at that. This child, Shun Shun, is too lonely. He's never brought a schoolmate home before. I was worried he didn't have any friends at school." Hearing this, Fei Fei couldn't help but agree with her. Your worries are justified. Nyeshinai couldn't watch this sentimental scene any longer. He coughed lightly. "I'm hungry." Hearing that, the woman also smiled happily. Right, the stew should be ready." "Fei Fei, I'm a housekeeper of the Nye family. If you need anything, just let me know." It turned out this middle-aged woman was the Nye family's housekeeper. And here Fei Fei thought she was Nyeshinya's mother. After hearing her introduction, she felt a bit embarrassed and said thank you. While waiting for the maid to serve the meal, Fei Fei and Nyeshinai sat on the sofa and talked. First, they talked about the little cat she had just returned to Nyeshinai. "I'm really sorry. After I found it, I took care of it for a few days. When I came home from school today, I found its leg was already like this." Although Nyeshinai was also heartbroken that the little cat's leg was injured, this wasn't Fei Fei's fault, so he wouldn't get angry with her. "It's fine. It's good that it was found." Fei Fei started to get curious about the little cat. She probably never expected someone like Nyeshinai to have a cat. "Did you spend so much money on it? Because you've had it for a long time." Nyeshinya's eyes were full of nostalgia as he said, "Almost a year. It's very important to me." Nyeshinai was also very grateful to Fei Fei, so just as written in the post, he would reward her. "Thank you. Leave your account number. I'll transfer you 100,000 later." Hearing this, two streams of thought immediately appeared in Fei Fei's head. One side urged her to think about her studies and ask Nyeshinai for help. The other side feared him. Angel Fei Fei said, "Oh my God, this is a rare opportunity. This is Mingda High's top student." Devil Fei Fei immediately retorted, "Have you forgotten he even hits girls? With your current level of knowledge, he'll get angry and beat you into the hospital while tutoring you. But he saved me on the rooftop, and he was kind enough to help me save face. The time he hit someone must have been a misunderstanding. Stop trying to whitewash it. It won't work." After bickering for a while, the strong will to live finally won. Devil Fei Fei was crushed by the little angel. "Between getting beaten and getting killed, I choose getting beaten." Fei Fei was determined to get into Tsinghua, so she wouldn't let some baseless fear make her miss the opportunity to ask the server's top player for help. She shot up from her seat and said decisively, "Nyeshinai, I don't need that 100,000. To Nyeshinya's confusion, Fei Fei very sincerely clasped her hands together. "Can you tutor me? You've been number one for so many years. Your study methods must be even better than a private tutor's. I really want to improve my academic performance. I'm begging you." Suddenly faced with someone who didn't want money, only to study, like Fei Fei, Nyeshinai felt a bit speechless. Although she was prepared to be rejected, Fei Fei didn't give up. She waved her hands and feet, talking frantically. "Rodinger is so cute. Isn't that worth you tutoring me? I only need your help for 3 months. Before she could finish, she was cut off. "I agree." Unbelievable that Nyeshinai would actually agree. Before Fei Fei could even be surprised, Nyeshinai immediately laid out 3 conditions. First, don't publicly look for me at school. I sit near the window. If there's something you don't understand during class, you can come and knock twice on the window. We'll meet on the rooftop. Second, come to my house after school. If you have something else to do, send me a message to let me know. Third, I will stop based on your situation. If you're too stupid to absorb anything, I'll send you the 100,000 back." Getting the top student's agreement to tutor her, Fei Fei was beyond happy. She was so grateful she was moved to tears. Oh my God. Happiness really came too suddenly. The 3 conditions he set seemed simple enough, not difficult at all. So she happily took Nyeshinya's hand and agreed immediately. "Thank you for saving my life. I will definitely study my heart out." After the agreement was made, Fei Fei immediately asked for Nyeshinya's contact information. She even gave him the nickname Study God Daddy. Just from the name, You could tell how much she worshipped him. Before leaving, Fei Fei even respectfully bowed 90 degrees to say goodbye to Nie Shinai. I'll bring the test paper from last time tomorrow. Please guide me well. I'll be going now, goodbye. The next day at school, Fei Fei's group of sisters were on their phones, their eyes dizzy from hunting for sales. If you're not good at math, you'll be copying homework for the rest of your life. Can't these electronics just have a direct sale? This plus this, buy a certain amount and get a discount. This was truly the elegant pastime of girls, confirming orders one after another without stopping. But Fei Fei didn't have time for carefree shopping like before. At this moment, her studies were her top priority. She quickly grabbed her books and left the classroom. Her underlings saw this and called after her. Fei Fei, where are you going? Today is November 11th. There's so many things to buy. Hurry up and come copy homework. No need, I'm out of money. After firmly refusing her sisters, Fei Fei hurried off to find Yeshinai. At that moment, he was sitting pensively by the window. He didn't even notice her arrival. Seeing Nie Shinai looking so lost in thought made Fei Fei worry that if she knocked on the window too lightly, he wouldn't hear it. So she decided to use a little more force. Who would have thought that this little bit of force was a full-on punch on the window, causing the glass to crack? Fei Fei looked at the result of her actions, her face turning pale. Fei Fei's action was extremely attention-grabbing. The students in the rocket class had already noticed her. Isn't that Dongfang Fei Fei from the international class? Was she in a bad mood after the last exam? So she's smashing windows to vent? It was true. The consequences were plain to see. Fei Fei couldn't even explain if she wanted to. Nieshinye's face darkened when he saw the scene. Fei Fei had left him completely speechless. Fei Fei's unintentional act of breaking the window was the crime of destroying public property. As a result, Nie Shinai also had to follow her to the principal's office to drink tea. This incident made the principal's already bad impression of Fei Fei even worse. He angrily reprimanded her, starting fights, getting written up, grades plummeting, and now you've started destroying public property. Dongfang Fei Fei, are you a lost cause? Being yelled at, Fei Fei could only take it. She was still wondering how to explain herself to the principal. When Nie Shinai stood up to help her out, I was the one who broke the window. She's a girl. How could she be that strong? The principal was even more confused after hearing this. This child, why would you break a window for no reason? Faced with the teacher's questioning, Nie Shinai just said calmly, there was a problem that was too hard. I couldn't solve it. This one sentence from Nie Shinai left not only the principal, but also Fei Fei speechless. Study God? Are you serious? But indeed, such a reason was irrefutable, successfully earning the principal's leniency. All right. Go back and get the window fixed. Thanks to that, our Fei Fei escaped a disaster. At this point, the two of them were on the rooftop. Nie Shinai pinched the bridge of his nose. Even though he had spoken up for her in front of the teacher, he still couldn't overlook her violent action. Do you know the difference between punching and knocking? Being asked like that, Fei Fei could only answer innocently. You were zoning out, so I was afraid you wouldn't hear the knock. I only used a little bit of force. I swear to God, I only used a little bit of force. Having witnessed the previous scene, the words "a little bit" from the female lead's mouth were now truly untrustworthy at all. But that issue was set aside for now. Fei Fei hurriedly took out her stack of test papers, whimpering as she handed them to Nie Shinai. These are my recent tests. Daddy, this is what's making me cry. Save me. In order to improve her studies, she didn't even mind calling Nie Shinai her dad. Nie Shinai took the stack of test papers from Fei Fei. He didn't look at them right away, but said to her, before we start tutoring, let me make this clear. The things I hate most are people who aren't focused and those who give up halfway. If you're just on a temporary learning whim, then quit while you're ahead. Don't waste both of our time. These words from Nie Shinai hit a sore spot for Fei Fei. She carefully thought back. It seemed that when she studied, she wasn't very focused. Sometimes she would secretly check her reflection in the mirror. Sometimes she would fall asleep. Sometimes her mind would be full of images of the little cat. She really was easily distracted. Knowing that Nie Shinye's doubts about her efforts were well-founded, Fei Fei became even more determined to change. She clenched her fists and said resolutely, no, I will try my best. I absolutely will not give up halfway. I must get into Tsinghua. Seeing Fei Fei's determination, Nie Shinai was satisfied. He didn't make things difficult for her anymore and began to look at the test paper she gave him. After stating her determination, Fei Fei herself felt moved, because this was the first time she had confessed her desire to get into Tsinghua to someone else, but Nie Shinai didn't laugh at her. But Fei Fei's happiness was short-lived. Looking at the female lead's report card, even the top student felt helpless. Nieshinai was silent for a few seconds before deciding to say, "Can I give you 200,000 instead?" For the top student to offer double the money, just to give up, our Fei Fei is truly something else. But at this moment, any amount of money was meaningless to the female lead. She pleaded with Nieshinai, "No way. I don't like money. I only like to study. Math is a complete lost cause. Literature is only basic knowledge. English is passable. Language sense is okay, but lacks experience. Politics and history, well, despite being weary of Fei Fei's academic performance, Nieshinai was still a very responsible person. He seriously analyzed her weaknesses and made a suggestion. "Come to my house tonight. I'll make a tutoring plan based on your situation. During class, listen if you can understand. If you don't, just write it down. I'll explain it to you tonight." Seeing Study God Daddy lay out a detailed study plan for her helped Fei Fei's spirits lift again. "Okay, your lordship's command is my direction for studying." Just then, the bell rang. It was time to return to class. Fei Fei hurriedly packed up her materials and said goodbye to Nieshinai. "Wow, the bell rang so fast. The third period is math. I can't be late. I'm heading down first." On her way back, Fei Fei was spotted by Chu Mei. Chu Mei was about to call out to Fei Fei, but was surprised too. Seeing Nieshinai also coming down from the rooftop, she couldn't help but feel suspicious. Usually, Nieshinai stays on the rooftop during breaks. No one dares to disturb him, but just now Fei Fei was with him. Could it be that he was just with Fei Fei? However, Chu Mei quickly dismissed that thought. She just thought she was overthinking things. Seeing Nieshinjia walking towards her, Chu Mei spoke up, wanting to start a conversation with him. "Nieshinjia, your chemistry homework is still... I don't have it. Don't bother me." Nieshinjia just replied coldly and walked straight past Chu Mei. Nieshinjia's attitude made Chu Mei feel very heartbroken. Zhou Jiasu, who was beside her, had to come over and comfort her. "Don't be sad. Nieshinjia is always like this. He tells any girl who asks that they're a bother." But only Chu Mei knew that Nieshinjia's attitude towards her had changed. It turned out Chu Mei had a secret crush on Nieshinjia since the start of 10th grade. He used to treat her normally, but now it was clear he despised her. Chu Mei couldn't help but recall the incident the day before when she brought the kitten back to Nieshinjia and took the opportunity to speak ill of Fei Fei. At that time, Nieshinjia had coldly looked at her with a contemptuous gaze and said, "Are you done? You think the animal protection room doesn't have cameras?" The camera footage showed Fei Fei finding the kitten and even feeding it a sausage. She looked so friendly and kind. There's no way she would be someone who harms animals. Because of that, Chu Mei's lie was immediately exposed by Nieshinjia. He said furiously, "Not only did you want to scam me out of 100,000, but you also wanted to blame her?" Nieshinjia's attitude scared Chu Mei so much that she had no way to defend herself. "Let the person who found it return it. If the cat has any more injuries, I'll make you suffer twice as much." After threatening Chu Mei, Nieshinjia handed the cat back, forcing her to take it home. With tears welling in her eyes, Chu Mei held the kitten. This time, she definitely wouldn't dare to touch it again. She could only grit her teeth and obey Nia. Shinjia. It turned out that was the reason why the kitten was still at home when Fei Fei returned that day. Chu Mei never expected to be so unlucky. Nieshinjia seeing the camera also meant he had seen Chu Mei's true colors. He would surely look down on her. Chu Mei let out a breath. Although she was startled, she couldn't show it. Outwardly, she still had to maintain her image as a kind and exemplary female student. Chu Mei returned to the classroom and stood before the class to announce to everyone, "Today we have to finish exercise 2 of part 3, chemical equilibrium. The teacher will check it in class tomorrow. For students, you can see that homework has always been a school-time nightmare. No one likes doing homework. Just hearing it mentioned made the students of the rocket class miserable, scratching their heads. So devastated, my vision is blurry. This assignment will take at least half an hour. Save me. Not only did I not have a childhood, but now I don't even have a youth." Even in the classroom, Qin sure couldn't escape being bullied. Project Hope is using a new phone. Society has really progressed. Qin quickly hid the phone, its screen full of running code, in his desk drawer. Not one to back down, he shot back a sarcastic remark at the male student who had just mocked him. It really has progressed. Even dogs are starting to speak human. Qin's words made the other male student fly into a rage out of shame. He agitatedly kicked Qin's desk hard, cursing loudly. Say that again. You use subsidy money to buy a new phone and you still want to apply for a scholarship. Aren't you disgusting? The loud noise woke up Shinjia, who was sleeping with his head on the desk. He sat up, annoyed. It's noisy. Shinjia's reputation had always made others fearful. Seeing that he had spoken up, the other male student didn't dare to actually start a fight in the classroom and just turned away resentfully. Just you wait. I'll see about you. How could Qin swallow this anger? But for now, he could only endure it. He clenched his fists, stopping himself from exploding. Sooner or later, he would get revenge on those people. Meanwhile, in Fei's class, the beautiful homeroom teacher stood on the podium and announced to the whole class, "My darlings, think about it." As soon as the teacher finished speaking, suddenly, everyone in the class, without prior agreement, turned to look at Fei. Our female lead was innocently confused. She was still focused on reading her book and doing her homework. But the teacher already understood her students' intentions. Knowing the result, she smiled brightly like a flower and made a decision. Since everyone has recommended the arts committee member, I will sign up student Fei. Okay. Hearing this, Fei shot up in alarm. Without a second thought, she immediately refused. Wait, teacher, I still have to study. I don't want to waste time on this performance. Her group of friends not only didn't help Fei out, but also pushed all the responsibility onto her. Oh, what truly good friends. So kind as to push Fei into a dilemma. Don't look at me. I'm tone deaf. I have 2 left feet. My face is hideous. After saying that, the whole group gave Fei a thumbs up, winking to encourage her. Rely on yourself. You're the queen of the whole auditorium. You can do it. After studying, now it's the cultural event. Our female lead is just too busy. She slumped on her desk in agony, feeling completely helpless. My grades are so low. How can I be the arts committee member? That evening, Fei went to Shinjia's house to study as scheduled. Hello, miss. The housekeeper was very welcoming when she saw Fei arrive again. She already knew that Shinjia would be tutoring Fei, so she smiled kindly and said, "It's a good thing for classmates to help each other." Shinjia is in his bedroom on the 2nd floor. This being her 2nd time at the top student's house, our Fei still couldn't act too naturally. She pushed open the door to Shinjia's room, but didn't rush in, instead standing hidden to one side of the door, peeking inside. It was clear that Shinjia's family background was truly impressive. Although the bedroom had a minimalist and tidy style, it also looked very luxurious, just like a 5-star hotel. Shinjia was already waiting at his desk. Seeing Fei arrive, he pushed out the chair next to him and said, "Sit here." Although Fei had been to his house before, at most she had only hung out in the living room. This was the first time she had entered a boy's private room like this. Fei felt as if she had stepped into Shinjia's absolute territory. His scent was all around, making her feel very strange. Fei also didn't expect that someone who looked as fierce and difficult as Shinjia would have such a romantic side. In his room, there was even a special glass wall from which one could gaze at the beautiful night sky. Before she could be romantic for more than a few seconds, Shinjia's indifferent voice rang out. "What are you looking east and west for? Hurry up and get over here." Yes, Fei silently wept. As expected, it was all just an illusion. The top student was as cold as ever. After she sat down at the desk, Shinjia began to seriously fulfill his responsibilities as a tutor. He had even drawn up a study plan for her. Before studying, you need to clarify the learning objectives for each stage. I'm not very clear on your academic ability. Therefore, this time's goal is set for a short period, which is 1 month of intensive study. The pace for reviewing literature and math is 1 lesson per week. For English, you need to increase practice to about 10 sentences a day. The content for history and politics isn't as urgent, so we should clarify the structure and key points first. Any problems? The study plan Shinjia wrote for Fei was extremely detailed, but this meant she would have to face an incredibly packed schedule. Just hearing it, Fei already felt a mountain of pressure. She weakly raised her hand to speak. "Yes, I have to go through all the subjects once in 1 month. And I also have to pay attention and absorb the material at school. I can't do it." Nie Shinjiao was still kind enough to encourage Fei Fei. Aim for the top to get the middle. Aim for the middle to get the bottom. This learning goal isn't about whether you can't do it, but about to what extent you can complete it, which depends entirely on yourself. Hearing the top student say this, Fei Fei's spirits were lifted. I understand. You mean that to bring out my full potential, I should set a high goal for myself, right? That's right. I've copied your class schedule. Besides the learning objectives, we also need to combine your schedule with your rest time. As Nie Shinjia spoke, he took notes to add to Fei Fei's study plan. It'll probably be like this. The main goal is to manage time properly. He assessed that Fei Fei's speaking and listening skills in literature weren't bad. He also reminded her to prepare a few books in her bag to look at new words and key sentences. He spoke in a long stretch, showing he was a very responsible person. Having agreed to help Fei Fei, he absolutely wouldn't do a half-hearted job. For literature, Nie Shinjia required Fei Fei to read more dictionaries, memorize poems, and listen attentively in class. He also showed her how to outline an essay so that her writing would have substance. This is a way to get immediate benefits, mainly relying on daily absorption. Fei Fei sat and listened attentively to Nie Shinjia, like a model student dedicated to her studies. After guiding Fei Fei, Nie Shinjia summarized today's lesson content before starting to tutor her. Tonight, I'll point out the mistakes you made on the test. Then we'll review Chapter 1 of Math a bit. Fei Fei was so moved she could cry. The god of studying had gone to the trouble of arranging everything so clearly for her. He was like an angel sent by heaven to save her life. But little did she know she was about to face a true demon king. After 10 minutes of studying, the situation became increasingly unstable. For literary figures, besides Chu Yuan drowning himself in the river, is there nothing else? Sima Qian was castrated. Her answer made Nie Shinjia so agitated he slammed the table. Math wasn't any better. Nie Shinjia grabbed her shoulders and shook her hard, making Fei Fei's head spin. Even so, she solved it wrong. The answer was completely off. I'm wasting my time teaching you. Do you even understand what I'm saying? It was clear our male lead was about to lose his patience. Patience. Biology was the climax. Fei Fei's answer made Nie Shinjia so angry that he actually flipped the table. After a study session with a top-ranked player, Fei Fei only felt that being tutored by Nie Shinjia himself gave her the feeling that she could be beaten at any moment. The pressure was greater than a dozen tutors combined. He was truly too good. When the session was over, Nie Shinjia fulfilled his duty by personally seeing Fei Fei out. At this moment, Fei Fei remembered something. She turned to ask Nie Shinjia, "If you tutor me every day, will your own studies be affected?" Nie Shinjia replied nonchalantly, "No, while you're doing your exercises, I can finish my work for the day." A top student is really different. He can study anytime, anywhere, and even after scolding so much, his brain is still incredibly sharp. Hearing him say that, Fei Fei felt somewhat relieved. She waved goodbye to Nie Shinjia. "That's good then. I'll be going. You should rest early. Good night." As soon as she finished speaking, Fei Fei was about to turn and leave when Nie Shinjia pulled her back. "Wait, although the villa area has tight security, you're a girl after all. From now on, I'll walk you home after tutoring." Hearing him say that, Fei Fei was secretly happy. She cheerfully said thank you. Walking alone was indeed very scary, and Nie Shinjia's action showed that he wasn't as rude as the rumors said. So, the two of them walked while reviewing knowledge for Fei Fei. Nie Shinjia asked, Fei Fei answered. The questions were diverse from social to natural sciences. It had to be admitted that this method was a very effective review, but it also proved one thing. Walking with Nie Shinjia was incredibly scary, even scarier than walking home alone. Being with a top student meant you could be studying anytime, anywhere, and if you answered wrong, he would even give you a lump on the head. Guaranteed you'd never dare to forget again. After walking for a while, Fei Fei saw that she was almost home. She turned to Nie Shinjia and said, Nie Shinjia, you can drop me off here. My mom found out about the criticism notice last time. She froze my card, and if she sees you walking me home every day, she'll think I'm in a puppy-love relationship and kick me out of the house. Even Lu Feng wasn't allowed to get close to the female lead's house. No matter how rebellious she was, she still had to bow to the power of her dear mother. Hearing Fei Fei say this, Nie Shinjia blushed slightly and looked away. Then, the two said their goodbyes, agreeing to meet again tomorrow. When Fei Fei returned to her room, she happened to see Chu Mei studying. We can see that on her desk, there was a photo of Shinjia. It's unknown when it was taken. But one thing is certain, Chu Mei's feelings for Shinjia were not small. Fei Fei, however, couldn't see through Chu Mei's thoughts. She just felt that Chu Mei was very diligent, studying late into the night every day. Seeing Chu Mei like this, she became even more certain that there were no shortcuts in studying, and she had to work even harder. Fei Fei approached Chu Mei and asked with concern, "Why are you still not asleep so late? Are you trying to get into the top 10 of the school?" Seeing Fei Fei approach, Chu Mei quickly closed her notebook, hiding Shinjia's picture before answering her. "No, I just want to finish this test paper, but it's too hard." Hearing this, Fei Fei didn't press further. Having used her brain for a whole evening with Shinjia, all she wanted now was to rest. "Then I'll go take a shower and sleep. Good night." "Wait, Fei Fei." Suddenly, Chu Mei called her back. The female lead's life had just gotten a little smoother, but she could already smell trouble brewing, and sure enough, what followed was. Chu Mei said with a worried expression, "After school today, I saw Lu Feng and Zhou Chao together. It seems Zhou Chao has transferred to the school next to our school." The moment she heard the name Zhou Chao, Fei Fei's expression changed. This person named Zhou Chao was the hooligan who had harassed her before she met Lu Feng. Fei Fei couldn't help but recall her past life when she was famous. A senior had taught her this. Beauty is not a gift from heaven, but a shackle that binds you. You need to spend time and effort to remove it to find your own path. The senior was a dedicated and kind person. She wholeheartedly shared her experiences with Fei Fei, warning her not to get caught up in vanity and waste her abilities. But at that time, Fei Fei and that scumbag were in the throes of a passionate love, her mind always filled with his sweet words about her career. She was just relying on her looks and acting to become famous, completely not understanding the senior's words. It wasn't until she was reborn, determined to study hard to get into Tsinghua, that she could understand a little. Indeed, the senior was never wrong. Fei Fei had realized that the more beautiful a person is, the more flattery and harassment they are likely to receive. Then they start to think that what heaven gives can decide everything. And this Zhou Chao was a key factor, the beginning of the tragedies in Fei Fei's life. He was the biggest harassment of her school days. He had been pursuing her since middle school. He would beat up any male student who had feelings for her, leading to no one in the class daring to talk to her except Chu Mei. This Zhou Chao was a possessive pervert. If he were handsome, it would be more bearable. Then perhaps their story would have a different perspective, becoming a typical love story of a domineering hooligan and a schoolbelle. But reality is always cruel. Zhou Chao's appearance was unremarkable, not charming, and even dangerous. What he did only made Fei Fei feel scared, becoming the biggest nightmare of her middle school years. Fortunately, Fei Fei's mother eventually found out about the harassment and reported it to the teacher, and even specially arranged for a private driver to take her to and from school. From then on, Fei Fei's situation gradually improved, and luckily, she didn't go to the same high school as Zhou Chao. Even so, he still harassed her relentlessly, not letting go, until Lu Feng personally taught him a lesson. But Zhou Chao didn't give up easily. He brought his gang for revenge. But for every clever trick, there's a cleverer one. Lu Feng's side not only brought his brothers to counterattack, but also called the police and found a lawyer. Lu Feng's family background was nothing to scoff at. The lawyer he hired was from the powerful Huaxin Group law firm. This incident almost sent Zhou Chao to a juvenile detention center. Zhou Chao's father, who was in the hotel business, had to personally find Lu Feng's father to apologize before the matter was resolved peacefully. From that day on, Zhou Chao started calling Lu Feng his brother and even pretended to apologize to Fei Fei. Fei Fei, who had endured for so long, finally had a chance to fight back. She gave Zhou Chao a loud slap and bluntly rejected his fake apology. "I don't accept it. After all, she was still Lu Feng's girlfriend in name. His transferring schools couldn't be because of her, right?" Our female lead hadn't even had a chance to feel relieved when suddenly a group of 3 people walked by without looking, bumping into her and causing her to stumble and almost fall. Fei Fei was bumped into for no reason, and the other party didn't even say a word of apology, which made her feel very annoyed. She frowned and looked back at the group, silently cursing that these guys had no eyes. At this moment, Fei Fei accidentally noticed a strange tattoo on the arm of one of the men. The pattern seemed very familiar to her, and memories flooded back. It turned out he was the man who had stabbed her once in Baidu in her previous life. Once she recognized the man who killed her, of course, Fei didn't want to lose his trail. She ignored the traffic light and ran across the road. She didn't even hear the curses from others. Right now, the only thing on her mind was the motive of that man for killing her. She didn't know this person at all, so someone must have ordered him to do it. Many questions appeared in Fei's mind. Who could it be? If she found this person and avoided him, could she escape death and not have to get into Tsinghua anymore? Absorbed in chasing the three men, by the time Fei came to her senses, she had run to the front of a luxurious hotel in the city. Just as she was about to enter, she was stopped by security. "Hey, little girl, you came here without even changing your uniform? Sorry, we don't serve minors here." The guests who came for entertainment saw a schoolgirl daring to come here and even had the leisure to stand around, whispering and teasing her. "This is the uniform of Mingda's school, so young and already like this? She's pretty. Come have a drink with me, little girl." Puppy love, huh? Focused on romance. Fei herself realized that her behavior was not quite right. She couldn't help but feel awkward. She was a high school student now, so it would be difficult to get in. Should she wait at the door for him to come out? While she was thinking of a way, a familiar voice sounded from behind, making Fei's hair stand on end. "Oh, isn't this sister-in-law?" It was none other than the person Fei wanted to see the least. "Zhou Chao." He approached and took her hand. "As it happens, this hotel is opened by my family. Let me take you in." His sleazy smile made Fei feel utterly disgusted. She struggled hard. "No need. Let go of my hand." Zhou Chao was also very accommodating. He let her go and raised his hands, pretending to be obedient. "If sister-in-law says to let go, I will definitely let go. Otherwise, I'm afraid you'll go crying to Brother Phone, and I'll have offended him again." Fei wanted to stay with this guy even less. Get out of the way. Even though the female lead wanted to get out of there as soon as possible, how could a thick-skinned pervert like Zhou Chao let her go so easily? He and his cronies blocked Fei's way. For better or worse, we were middle school classmates. It's too impolite to leave in such a hurry right after meeting. Zhou Chao didn't get to be arrogant for long. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Lu Feng appeared from nowhere, right behind Fei, and very naturally wrapped his arm around her waist. "You've been avoiding me these past few days, so it turns out you wanted to come in here? You just had to say the word, and I would have brought you." Although Lu Feng's presence helped Fei escape the pervert's gaze, she still didn't accept him being so touchy-feely. She showed her annoyance. "Who wants to? I was just passing by." Fei coldly pushed Lu Feng away. "I'm going home first." No matter what, she still had to get to class on time, and with the crowd growing, it would be hard to find that killer. Nie Xinjiao was still waiting for her to study. She had also promised him she would study seriously, so she couldn't stay here any longer. Seeing Fei leave, Lu Feng quickly threw his car keys to his underling and chased after her. And so, he just tagged along behind Fei, and after walking for a while, Fei finally couldn't take it anymore and turned to shoo Lu Feng away. "I can go home by myself. You don't need to follow me." Lu Feng smiled, in a good mood to tease the female lead. "What's wrong with our Fei Bao? Who made you angry?" Although Lu Feng was a real scumbag, it was also true that he was handsome. When he smiled, he was so charming that it was impossible for others to stay angry. Fei knew she couldn't win against his handsome guy tactic. She couldn't get angry at Lu Feng, so she could only continue to be cold to him. "Who's angry? You go back and play around with Zhou Chao. Leave me alone." But we all know that if Lu Feng claimed to be second in thick-skinnedness, no one would dare claim first. Not only did he not go back, but he also jumped in front to block Fei. Fei didn't have time to react and bumped into his chest. After that, this guy still didn't have the sense to step aside for her, really making our female lead mad enough to die. Let go. If you don't let go, I'll bite it." It seemed Lu Feng had heard Fei's scolding so much he had memorized it. At this point, what she said was like water off a duck's back to him. Lu Feng held on to Fei and wouldn't let go, even haggling and setting conditions with her. "Tell me clearly, and then I'll let go." The scumbag was so annoying that Fei couldn't be bothered to hide anything from him anymore. This time, it was her turn to question Lu Feng. "In middle school, Zhou Chao stalked me for 3 years, almost making me depressed. When you first told him to apologize to me, I was very angry. Why are you still hanging out with someone of such terrible character?" Regarding Fei's dissatisfaction, Lu Feng looked very innocent. "I don't hang out with him. We just happened to run into each other yesterday and exchanged a few words. He said he transferred to the school next door. That's all." After explaining clearly, Lu Feng even reached out to pinch Fei Fei's cheek, treating her like a child and lecturing her on the ways of the world. Why are you acting like such a kid? Do you have to be so clear about who you like and dislike? When you enter society in the future, you'll understand. The world isn't what you think it is. There are people you really hate, but you still have to act normal on the surface. After hearing these words, our female lead couldn't feel any gratitude. It made Fei Fei furious. For better or worse, she had also been in the entertainment industry for several years, yet she was being lectured by a high school kid. Lu Feng's reasoning couldn't make Fei Fei agree. She raised her voice angrily. There are some people that when you hate them to a certain degree, you can't be normal. Also, why are you holding a cigarette? What kind of high school student smokes? Who was it that was first curious about what cigarettes tasted like, and even learned to smoke one? Lu Feng retorted, blowing smoke in her face. Even so, what he said was indeed not wrong. Her glorious rebellious youth achievements made it impossible for Fei Fei to refute. Cough cough, let's not talk about it. Anyway, smoking is not good. Although Lu Feng had to tease Fei Fei a few times to be satisfied, he was still very obedient and threw the cigarette into the trash can. Then he very confidently assured her, "With me here, he won't dare to do anything. So just ignore him. Relationships between people are all about emotional or beneficial transactions. Don't take it too seriously." Lu Feng, who was usually so carefree, was acting unusually perceptive about life today. But what he had just said made Fei Fei feel uncomfortable. So your relationship with me is also just for emotional or beneficial transactions. Lu Feng didn't know that these philosophical life lessons had caused Fei Fei's already low favorability of him to drop significantly. At this moment, she only felt disappointed. To think that in her past life, she had given her all for him, it was truly not worth it. No, that's not right. Why should I be upset about who he hangs out with? I've already decided to break up and be a passerby. If I keep overthinking and don't focus on my studies, I'll die a horrible death. I was in such a mood just now that I forgot to mention breaking up again. Our female protagonist struggled with her thoughts the entire way. And because of that, she missed Lu Feng's last words before he left. Maybe you're not. Fei Fei struggled for a while to get to Nieshinya's house. By the time she climbed up to his room, she was out of breath. Even so, the first thing to do when entering a top student's room is to show remorse. "I'm sorry. My mom's company had an event today, so all the cars at home were used," Fei Fei said after catching her breath. As soon as she looked up, she was faced with Nieshinya's dark-circled eyes, which startled her. "Nieshinai, didn't you sleep last night?" Those panda eyes confirmed that Fei Fei's question was correct. Nieshinai didn't bother to answer her. He solemnly handed her a thick stack of documents and said, "This is the political history knowledge for this half of the week that I've compiled. You must try to memorize it all. Today, I told you to go home and memorize literature. Now I want to test you." And so, the old lesson review session was allowed to begin. It was at this moment that we could clearly see our female protagonist's diligence and effort. Nieshinai recited one line. She responded with another. The charming girl awaits me at the corner of the wall, loves but cannot meet, scratching her head, hesitating. In me, there is tenfold splendor. A little grooming adds more freshness. 1,000-mile wolf's fur as an outer coat. Autumn orchids gathered to make a belt. And just like that, one poem was finished. Every line of the poem was recited fluently and coherently by Fei Fei. Nieshinai then asked her for the entire short song style by Chow Chow. Fei Fei confidently recited it flawlessly, facing wine, one should sing. For how long does a person's life last? For this review, Fei Fei was more than confident. It's just that in her past life, she had so many anti-fans, but her acting was the one thing no one could criticize. After all, she truly had real skills. So, memorizing things now was a piece of cake for her. She was still studying this semester's literature after being reborn. If she still hadn't memorized it, it would be too shameful. However, Fei Fei couldn't be smug for long. Nieshinya's subsequent questions became increasingly difficult, soon pushing her into a corner. Questions like which line in Su Shi's Nian Nu Jiao described Zhou Yu's heroic bearing, then which line in the Analects Wei Zheng chapter clearly presented the principle of rule by virtue, which line in Han Yu's On the Teacher clarified Li Pan's literary level. The further they went, the more Fei Fei stumbled in her answers. Just hearing the questions made her feel dizzy, let alone thinking of the answers. So in the end, Fei Fei had to admit defeat to Nieshinya's tricky questions. After getting 3 questions wrong, she was forced to accept his punishment. Shinai reached out and pointed at Fei-Fei's forehead. Having seen him hit someone before, our female protagonist now felt a bit scared. She quickly squeezed her eyes shut. These questions are too hard. You're being unreasonable. But contrary to Fei-Fei's thoughts, the imagined pain never came. She only felt a light press on her forehead. And that was it. Shinai didn't actually want to hurt Fei-Fei. He said seriously, the current education reform places increasing importance on traditional culture. For the college entrance exam, the literature section is getting harder. Even for passages, it's not about memorization. It's better to fully understand the meaning of the text. This explained why Shinai had to be so hard on Fei-Fei. After all, a dedicated tutor like him always thought about what was beneficial for her. Fei-Fei understood Shinai's good intentions. She sat down seriously at the desk. Shinai also began his lecture. First, he pointed out the areas Fei-Fei needed to pay attention to. Besides paying attention to this type of question, you also need to improve your reading comprehension skills. Then he started assigning her homework. Time flew by. Fei-Fei diligently worked on the practice questions without stopping. It wasn't until an hour later that she put down her pen. Fei-Fei stretched her chest and her sore shoulders. She only had geography left to finish. Looking over at Shinai beside her, it seemed he was also very tired today. While she was doing her homework, he was spacing out. Then he fell fast asleep. Seeing Shinai so tired, Fei-Fei couldn't help but admire him in her heart. Do all top students work this hard? She recalled back in 10th grade when she had a secret crush on Shinai and would often watch him. He was always in a daze, not liking to hang out in noisy groups with the boys, but since he got along with Lu Feng's group, he wasn't autistic. From that, Fei-Fei came to the conclusion that all boys in puberty like to act cool like that. This was truly unfair to our male protagonist, but Fei-Fei didn't dare to reminisce for too long. She still had geography to do. If Shinai woke up and saw that, she would be done for. Just the thought was scary. Fei-Fei shook her head vigorously to dispel those stray thoughts. Once again, she focused on her studies. The end. Class. Shinai walked Fei-Fei out. It was then that she remembered something and turned to ask him, Shinai, you're in the science stream, so how can you memorize political history without missing a single word? It seems the key question types were also taught by the teacher before. I thought I was looking for you just to be tutored in literature and math. To Fei-Fei's question, Shinai just lazily replied, something that's simple can be memorized in one night. The truth proved that Fei-Fei and the top student were not on the same level. He had unintentionally shown off his superhuman memory to her. Fei-Fei's eyes sparkled as she optimistically changed the subject. Actually, I've been studying for a few days now, and I find math isn't that hard. Shinai truly didn't know the meaning of the word encouragement. He just said coolly, I'm teaching from the basics. If you can't even do that with that IQ, you should just say goodbye to university. Shinai's words were the complete opposite of Lu Feng's smooth talk. After hearing him, Fei-Fei felt deeply hurt, tears streaming down her face. Can't this person speak a little more nicely? Huh? When Fei-Fei got home, she saw her mother and Aunt Mai already waiting in the living room. She didn't understand what was happening, but seeing her mother at home, she still said cheerfully, Mom, you don't have to attend a social gathering today. Ignoring Fei-Fei's question, her mother frowned and questioned her daughter. Fei-Fei, can't you learn from their families? Sumei, so I can worry less? Tell me the truth. Are you in a relationship already? It was clear that from waiting for her until now, her mood had already soured. Aunt Mai, standing beside her, also sighed, looking very disappointed in Fei-Fei. Although the truth was that Fei-Fei was indeed in a relationship. After all, it was a consequence of her rebellious phase. She still hadn't been able to break up with Lu Feng, but right now, she guaranteed she was completely focused on her studies. Being suddenly asked about this made Fei-Fei think they were talking about Shinai, and she couldn't help but feel guilty. Although she vehemently denied it verbally, in her heart, Fei-Fei was still afraid that her mother had seen Shinai walk her home, and that's why she was angry. Fei-Fei's mother continued to scold her daughter. You say no, but how many days has it been since you last attended evening self-study? And you're hanging out with that red-haired guy. Sumei's mother told me everything. Hearing her mother scold her like this, Fei Fei actually felt relieved. As long as Nia Shinai wasn't mentioned, it was fine. The matter between her and him hadn't been exposed yet. Fei Fei breathed a sigh of relief. But even so, being suspected of fooling around while she was striving to study every day made her feel upset. Knowing that this news reached her mother through Aunt Mai, Fei Fei turned to question her. Aunt Mai, did you see with your own eyes that I was out with a debaucherous male student? Red hair. Was it Sume who told you that? The more Fei Fei looked, the more she felt that Aunt Mai was truly detestable. All day long, she used the excuse of, it's for your own good, to report to her mother. Towards Sume, she developed a sense of